Cox, get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
At the V Foundation, V is for victory over cancer. V is for victory over giving up.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Join our team in the fight against cancer at V.org.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
I'm attorney Brian Richie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It is a WRAL weather alert day. It's still really warm and muggy out there. We'll see pockets of heavy rain, some heavy downpours in spots. 73 overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, we start to change the pattern. It'll be a little drier, a little bit more sunshine, fewer thunderstorms, a high of 90, and it'll be the first time we've hit 90 this month.
Weather update brought to you by Nukem and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit nukemandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 71 points to 44,850.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits!
Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorham producing the show today. Tim will be back next week. Get a little rest and relaxation as the preseason of NFL football continues on this weekend, including a game coming up this Saturday, Max, for the Carolina Panthers taking on the Houston Texans. And you know what? Let's go ahead and start the big 3 with 3 right there. Let's get right into that number one thing. Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
Carolina Panthers had a joint practice today down in Houston against the Texans, and by all accounts, it was extremely hot. Everyone that you follow that covers the team that was actually down there in Houston, I even actually looked up the weather because, why not? How hot actually was it? At about 11:30 local time this morning, it was already a heat index of about 102, 103. That was at 11:30 Houston Central Time.
Nice
so down
balmy
there.
103.
Exactly. Much like what we went through here in the state of North Carolina just a few weeks ago before this recent, cold rush, I guess you could say, that we've had. But that's what they dealt with today. And when you think about it, the Panthers, outside of the first couple days of practice, actually really didn't deal with that because, again, the the recent, cold streak that we've had, which has been very pleasant for us to enjoy.
Yeah, they've had to deal more with like rain and the elements than the super muggy heat.
I know they've been getting just poured on in Charlotte in terms of the rain. But some news and notes real quick out of joint practice. No Jalen Coker at practice today. Illness, sick. Dave Canales said post-practice that feeling fever, lymph nodes a little swollen. It's like, it sounds like a cold. But they're, doctors and team trainers are all taking care of him. Hopefully he can play on Saturday, again, depending on how he feels. You also don't want to spread that around your team as well. No Trevin Wallace at practice today, the second-year linebacker out of Kentucky, the third-round pick. He had a personal matter, which Dave Canales did not disclose what that was, and if it's personal, that's my mind. That's all you got to say. But a personal matter, and he actually traveled to Houston today. So he actually arrived there today. My guess is that he'll play on Saturday as well. Derek Brown practiced today, which is a good thing. Derek Brown, who did not play in the joint practice last week against Cleveland, nor in the preseason game, practiced today. Full pads. There's videos out there of him being out there on the field, which is a good sign, a good thing to see when it comes to him. J.C. Horn, their other star defensive player, still dealing with that laceration and the stitches on his left hand. Didn't practice today. Had his helmet on. My guess is that he worked out on the side and at least did some stuff to keep his conditioning and all that. But not going to play this Saturday as well. And then Nick Scorton, the rookie outside linebacker from Texas A&M, the second-round pick, dealt with some heat-related stuff today because, again, it was super hot. His body was just a little bit overheated, so the trainers took him to their cooling zone, which is similar to what the Carolina Panthers have at their practice facility, which is basically a trailer that is really, really cold to help lower his body temperature a little bit, gave him IVs, but didn't return to practice because, being cautious, heat-related stuff. You don't want injuries or worse to possibly come of that as well. Hopefully he can play on Saturday again, depending on how he feels. So all in all, in terms of health, Panthers walked away okay, which is the number one thing about all of it, Max. Walk away health and clean. Now, there were some highlights, obviously, from practice today as well, including some nice touchdown passes from some videos I saw, including Bryce Young to Xavier Legette, as well as Bryce Young to Terrell McMillan. Terrell McMillan being guarded on play by Derek Stingley Jr., who is one of the best corners in the NFL. And Dave Canales, post-practice, summed up Bryce Young's day.
Our process is getting to the line, using his tools, using his answers, reading coverages, and just being accurate with the ball, extending plays when he had to. And the more opportunities he gives our guys to make plays, they've come through for him. And I think we had a big defensive pass interference that actually flipped the field. So you can see how it goes both ways. But he did a great job today.
So praise for Bryce Young. Well, Bryce, how do you feel about today's joint practice?
Yeah, I think it was a good day. I think that we had some explosives. I think we had some plays that we want back. I think that there's just great tape for us to learn from, good or bad. It was great to be able to go up against a great defense like Houston has. Great for us to come out in this weather, which is different, just for us to be able to fight through things. Haven't watched the film yet, so it's never as good as you think, never as bad as you think. You never really get the full tale of the tape until you watch it. But I feel good about how we competed. That's really what we pride ourselves in. Feel good about our attitude towards things, and then as we watch the tape, we'll see what we can improve on.
All right, so this is Bryce Young summing up joint practice. We're going to get more into this here in about 10 minutes regarding joint practice. Not everything was perfect, but that's okay. That's why you practice. All right, that's number one on the big 3 at 3. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
And that number 2 stands for 2 weeks away. Folks, 2 weeks away from today, East Carolina at NC State. Elon at Duke. Now, Elon at Duke, I'm very much not worried about Duke in that game. If Duke struggles or loses that game, we're going to have a lot of different conversations. I'm very bullish on Duke this upcoming season for football. But, Max, we are 2 weeks away from East Carolina traveling to Carter Finley Stadium to take on NC State. And a game that Dave Doran at ACC Football Media Days said, and I quote, wants to beat the bleep out of them. Now, I'm sure Dave Doran would say that about any school that showed up to Carter Finley Stadium for week 1 of the season. But this one's got a little bit extra to it. obviously there's the local rivalry to this. I mean, Greenville is what, an hour and 15 minutes away from where we currently sit in Raleigh? Not that far. Hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes, depending on who's driving, it might be an hour and 5. It's not that far down the road. And there's a lot of East Carolina fans that live in this area because, again, it's not that far down the road. There are people that maybe grew up in Raleigh as NC State fans, but then went to school at East Carolina. So you have, obviously, there's the local connection that obviously goes into this. There's an in-state rivalry that comes with it. But there's also the bowl game from last season where East Carolina beat NC State. There was the fights and all that stuff that we saw towards the end of the game. That stuff is going to carry over in 2 weeks from today. No doubt about it. It's just human nature. How can it not? You can easily say, well, it's a new year. We've got different guys. We've turned a page. We got to focus on us. Nah, people are human. People will remember that stuff. ECU is going to remember that stuff. I guarantee you, CJ Bailey, when he lines up, is going to remember it. Justin Jolie is going to remember it. Noah Rogers is going to remember it. Heck, Dave Doran's going to remember it. And Blake Harrell and the crew at East Carolina, they're going to remember it too. So Dave Doran, 2 weeks from today, put your money where your mouth is. You want to beat the bleep out of that team? Then go do it. Go do it. Go prove it. Show that you are the best team in the state of North Carolina if that's what you want to be. And obviously they do want to be that. They want to beat all the schools that they play in state. Whether it's ECU, App, Duke, Carolina, it doesn't matter. And the same thing for Duke, Carolina, and all these other schools. I mean, how big would it be for East Carolina, Coach Harrell, first season as the head coach, like full-time head coach, not just being the interim, and the interim tag got removed like we saw last year when Mike Houston got fired. But hey, you know what? We're the best team in the eastern part of North Carolina. Like that's what ECU wants to say. They can make that stamp. They go into Carter Finley in 2 weeks away from today, and they can make that statement for sure.
If they did come away with a win in that one, the NC State fans would not be very pleased.
Oh,
with
no.
Doran.
There would be panic. And honestly, there should be. That's a massive game for NC State to start the season. If East Carolina doesn't come out with a win on the road in that game, well, guess what? East Carolina is not supposed to win on the road at Carter Finley Stadium. They're not supposed to. I cannot wait. 2 weeks away. It's that close. And by the way, NFL kicks off in 3 weeks. 3 weeks from today, the NFL kicks off. And 1 week from today is Numbers Game Live. We'll have more on that a little bit later on, Max. But let's get to the third thing of the big three at 3.
Number 3.
The sale of the Boston Celtics officially was approved today. And the reason why I bring this up is because we had the news yesterday that Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon is purchasing the Portland Trail Blazers. At least is leading a group with some other investors, venture capitalists and private equity groups and all that kind of stuff. People with money. So he's leading a lot of the way the money and the charge in that regard in terms of purchasing the Trail Blazers. But in terms of a timeline, because people were asking me and asking us, what's the impact that it could potentially have on the Carolina Hurricanes? Because Tom Dundon is in on every single one of these deals. As much as we talk about general manager Eric Tulsky, the owner Tom Dundon is involved in trades, contract negotiations. He's involved in every single bit of that. Now, the sale of the Boston Celtics, again, was approved today, mid-August. We heard news of that sale actually back in March. So to kind of give you a timeline of the purchase for Tom Dundon and the Portland Trail Blazers being approved by the Board of Governors in the NBA, you're probably looking at sometime around the turn of the calendar year, maybe even like sometime in January. That's when we're actually going to see the sale fully go through. Now, real quick audio piece here. There were fans that were worried about relocation. And there also were just general thoughts on the sale and the timing of it. Let's actually get to that second clip here, backed by Sean Highkin. Sean Highkin covers the Portland Trail Blazers as a writer. He covers the Portland Trail Blazers for the Rose Garden Report. Again, an insider with the Portland Trail Blazers. And he shares his thoughts on the sale of the Blazers.
I think the timing of it is a little bit of a surprise because when the Paul Allen estate announced a couple of months ago that the team was finally going to officially be put up for sale, they said that the process was expected to drag out into the 25-26 NBA season. So I don't think anybody was expecting there to be a buyer this soon. But I would say generally, especially with there being a lot of messaging already from, people close to the process, that this new group intends to keep the team in Portland long term. I would say the vibe from fans and from people that I've talked to is generally very positive right now.
And it should be, because let's look at what the Carolina Hurricanes have done since Tom Dundon has taken over the team. They've made the playoffs every single year. There's a lot of questions of, will he relocate the team? He's from Dallas. Maybe, Austin might be looking to add a playoff team, or a hockey team, because Austin, Texas is a young and growing market. Maybe he wants to relocate the team. Actually, quite the contrary. He's not afraid to put money into the roster. I mean, the Carolina Hurricanes have spent up to the salary cap pretty much every year that Tom Dundon has been an owner of the team. So he's not afraid to spend money in that regard. And he's putting in a lot of money investing into the renovation of into the Lenovo Center and the surrounding area, which is a good thing. That means economic growth in the area and the team staying put. And the arena where the Portland Trailblazers play is about 30 years old. It is in need of renovations. Or if not, they just need a new arena, which sounds very similar to what the Canes have gone through recently. So I think that Portland fans should be excited about it. But the big question for a lot of people locally is, how does that impact Major League Baseball potentially coming to this area? Because Tom Dundon has expressed, including yesterday, about he's still interested in bringing Major League Baseball to the state of North Carolina, and in particular, the Triangle. We'll dive more into that a little bit later on in the show. But it is The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show today. Big question out of joint practice. Can the Carolina Panthers fix what they can control? More on that in 2 minutes.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Hello, I'm John Hester for the Hester Automotive Group. And we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Hester to you.
Sports can be unpredictable. Your elevator shouldn't be. That's why you need Metro Elevator, Raleigh's hometown team for expert commercial elevator service. Locally owned and operated, we specialize in keeping your building moving with top-tier repair, maintenance, modernization, and installation. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service to ensure your elevators run smoothly. No surprises, just results. Trust Raleigh's own Metro Elevator to keep you moving. Learn more at metro-elevator.com/Raleigh.
So the Carolina Panthers had another joint practice earlier today, this one going on the road in Houston against the Houston Texans. Their second joint practice that they've had this offseason. And one of the things that I wanted to see, obviously, no one getting hurt. That's number one. No one getting hurt. But I always wanted to see, and I look at this at the lens of a former, not only former college athlete, but also a former college coach. I used to coach college women's lacrosse. Did it for 9 total years and was a head coach for about 3 of it. And one of the things that I always wanted to see during the course of the early part of the season, because sometimes we would have scrimmage dates against other schools and, kind of like the equivalent of like a jamboree like you would see in high school football. We would have those in the course of the preseason, and it's always nice a way to see progress during the course and actually show the mistakes that we were making, because sometimes in practice it doesn't always come about because you're not doing it against somebody else. And the fact that you can actually see it against someone else is something that you want to see. And I always preached about controlling what you can control in terms of the discipline and all those kinds of things. And oftentimes it comes down to early part of the year focus. And that's often sometimes how you get some sloppy play. And as Dave Canales talked about today, during at least the middle portion of practice today, there was some sloppiness.
In the middle of the practice, we got really sloppy. We had about 5 pre-snap penalties in one drive. We're looking at some, 1st and 15s, a couple of sacks. I thought it got sloppy in the middle. Responded at the end with 2 great 2-minute finishes for touchdowns at the end of the practice over here, which was phenomenal. And I just keep convincing our guys that's who we are. We finish. Games can get ugly in the middle. We have to be able to refocus and rebound. So I was really excited about that part.
Okay, refocus and rebound, but that doesn't mean you still can't control what you can control. And pre-snap penalties are 100% on you. Whether you're on offense or defense, that's 100% on you. If you're on defense, are you watching the ball move? Are you jumping off sides, or just offensively remembering the cadence? Just remember the snap count, those kinds of things. How, Dave Canales, can your team clean up those pre-snap penalties?
Yeah, I just keep teaching the guys, and they see it when we get into these situations. Our guys are very competitive. They want to win. And all of a sudden you're looking at, 1st and 15, you're looking at 2nd and 20, and they can feel how deflating those situations can be. We've overcome that at times, but it's hard. It's hard to get those explosives, to get yourself back on track, but it's something we have to keep teaching off of and ultimately let them know, like the guys that are repeat offenders, we're not going to be able to play you. You're not going to be able to help us if you keep putting us in bad situations.
Bingo. That's how you clean it up. If you're going to keep hurting us, guess what? You can come stand next to me. You can't hurt me standing on the sideline. Simple as that. And this especially goes into like depth players that might be looking for an opportunity to get playing time if there's an injury or playing in a rotation or some way, shape, or form. I can't trust to put you out there if you keep making mistakes, especially ones that you can control. Now, there might be some times where you're out there, you get called for a holding penalty that really was, might be a ticky-tack call. You can't control that. Someone else is making that decision, not you. Or you might get dragged down on a pass interference call and nothing gets thrown. That's not your call. But these pre-snap penalties are all things that you can take care of. If you're going to hurt us, you won't play. It's plain and simple. And that's a mindset that every coach has. Now, obviously, there's always going to be an exception of, if it's like your star player, you might come sit next to me for a couple plays to kind of help send a message, but you're not just going to completely bench somebody. Everything's a little bit relative in this regard. But one of the things that every team has to fight through, and this is what I say during the course of a season, just in the course of a game, is that oftentimes these mistakes come from just simply fatigue, especially early on in the season. Like we mentioned earlier at the start of the show, heat index was 100+ down in Houston today when they finished up practice. Like that's the Panthers haven't played through that in the last couple of weeks. Now you go down there like, oh God. I know normally in North Carolina we get the 90+ degree days with the humidity, but here in the old North State we've been getting a bunch of rain and like 81 degree days and sometimes 78. That's what we've been getting lately. Now all of a sudden you got to go into a different element. And Dave Canales said, hey, guess what? In week 1 against Jacksonville, 1 o'clock kickoff, this is the kind of temperature and weather that you're going to be playing in. And Dave Canales also talked about how the team also just mentally needs to battle through the fatigue.
Fatigue, lack of focus, that's something that we have to learn to do better. We have to be able to fight through fatigue, fight through exhaustion. It's going to be hot. We're going to go to Jacksonville week 1. It's going to feel like this. Can we maintain that level of focus play after play? Regardless of what the last play did, can you breathe on your way back? And then can you execute? And I saw the penalties pile up when we were tired. That's something that we have to get better at.
That comes through repetitions. That comes through just doing it. That's simply what it is. Not saying the heat or anything was an excuse, but it's an adjustment. You're going to, again, have to go down to Jacksonville in 24 days and have to play in that similar type weather. Now, obviously, when they come back here to North Carolina after Saturday's preseason game, they'll probably be playing in something similar to what they did today. And again, they'll adapt and they'll adjust. This time of year is all about correcting mistakes and everyone getting on the same page, but also it's a great opportunity to continue to face other people in competition and like other teams. Corey Thornton, the rookie defensive back out of Louisville, the undrafted guy who played well in that first preseason game against the Cleveland Browns. That was against the Browns backups. Okay, today, now you got to go run out there with the ones once again. Now you got to go guard Nico Collins, who's a Pro Bowl level wide receiver, and C.J. Stroud throwing the football. Now, let's also keep in mind, these are all controlled situations in practice as well. It's still practice. You can't touch the quarterback. Everything is, all right, we're going to go do a 2-minute drill right now, as opposed to, hey, sudden change situation here with 90 seconds left. Now we're going to go run out on the field when I wasn't expecting to. Now we're going to go defend a 2-minute drill. Or we're standing on the sidelines on offense. Our defense forces a fumble. Oh, our ball, we got one timeout. How much time left? 75 seconds on the clock. Now we get to go try and get points. That only comes from actually playing in games. Now, once again, being able to play against other people certainly helps. Something I'm looking forward to seeing this Saturday. Well, the Carolina Panthers starters actually playing a little bit longer. You want to build on eliminating those mental mistakes when you're fatigued? Well, go out there for a third offensive drive or go out there for a third defensive drive. Maybe it comes after the change of a quarter. That's how you continue to build that stuff, and they call it getting in game shape. And Dave Canales talked about the starters playing on Saturday, and depending on what he feels about his players, might even play a little bit longer than they did on Friday last week.
That's the hope. I want to see how we come out of today, because I know, like, right after the practice, thank the Lord, it feels like we came out pretty clean. But, things kind of present themselves. Soreness will present itself tonight, so we'll have to kind of reconfigure in the morning, see where we're at, to see how long we want to play them, but they will be playing.
Canales did say on Friday after the game that he wants to see his starters get into a third drive at least. Because remember, against Cleveland, they each went 3 and out, the offense and defense, and there were some sustained drives after that. For the second drive for the offense, they went about 8-9 plays, got a touchdown, and then the defense was out there for about 6 or 7 plays before forcing a turnover on downs themselves. But okay, now as the other team makes an adjustment, you have to make an adjustment yourself. That's, again, all comes with the conditioning. And let's be honest, the Panthers overall, at least offensively, are a really, really young team. Terrell McMillan is a rookie. Now, he also played some snaps with Andy Dalton when the second unit came out just to get more repetitions. But Terrell McMillan's a rookie. Jalen Coker's a second-year player. Xavier Leggett's a second-year player that needs more reps, especially since he only played about 6 snaps in that preseason game before getting kicked out. Jimmy Horn Jr. is a rookie. Mitchell Evans, tight end, rookie. Jatavian Sanders, tight end, second-year player. That's 6 skill guys that you will probably rely upon heavily this season that are first- or second-year players. They need as many live reps as possible. So I hope, with the fact that everyone's coming out healthy, at least for the most part today, it seems like, that we'll see that come about on Saturday. Now, we might find out something on Saturday that we weren't anticipating. For example, Damian Lewis had a shoulder injury, the offensive lineman, on Wednesday last week in the joint practice with Cleveland. We didn't really know about that on Wednesday when it happened, but when Friday rolled around with the preseason game, hey, Damian Lewis isn't playing. So we'll have to wait and see. But I want the starters to play a little bit more on Saturday for sure. Now, going into Thursday next week against Pittsburgh for that preseason game on Thursday next week at Bank of America, maybe you don't play your starters as much in that game, or maybe even at all because it's a little bit of a shorter week. We shall see. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show today. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, as we talked about, a lot, the weather, it kind of stinks. All this rain that we've been getting. By the way, we have had rain at least one day every single week since April. One day at least every single week since April, we've had rain here in Raleigh. So as a motorcycle rider, I'm always looking at the forecast in advance. I got to plan out, all right, it might be good getting to work, but what about going home? I got to make sure I can get home safely, or vice versa. I always have to make sure that you're anticipating and preparing for the worst as a motorcycle rider. But sometimes accidents do happen. There's plenty of distracted drivers out there that might drift across the lane. Guess what? Unfortunately, you're injured in a motorcycle accident, and this is where Law Tigers steps in. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS even before you contact your insurance company. Insurance companies, they want to give you the least amount possible, whereas Law Tigers, they're part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike and your gear are worth and what you're going through after an accident. Your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free. Let me say that again. Your case evaluation is always free, and they don't get paid until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. On the Dean's List, coming up, what ACC players have been named preseason All-Americans? We'll have that on the Dean's List and more next. Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. One thing you need to make sure with your motorcycle
This is Gordon
that
Miller
you do
from Miller Lending and Carey. If you're in the market for a mortgage, good luck. Comparing apples to oranges is now more challenging than ever, as we've noticed a return to 80s-style lending with multiple points being charged up front in order to make the payment appear more attractive. Typically, the lowest rate quote you find will have the highest closing cost you'll find, as numerous lenders play this game of getting you to focus only on the payment and not the $15,000 due at closing. On refinancing, it's even worse, as lenders willingly add these costs to your loan amount. At Miller Lending, we don't believe in closing costs. By working with our popular no-cost program, you simply close on today's rates and refinance anytime you'd like. Nothing rolled in, nothing charged at closing. Imagine having the freedom to take advantage of smaller rate drops, opportunities to drop PMI, or simply put that money to better use. So before you throw away thousands of dollars in needless fees, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender on MLS number 250-2146.
Is your heating and air system handling the hot weather okay? Call Nukem & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Nukem & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcomandcompany.com. Nukem & Company, your comfort is our business.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stabil in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stabil outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stabil.
Max, was it more Michael McDonald?
No, this is Christopher Cross.
Oh. Could have fooled me. Max with the yacht rock. Max, you're like the youngest person in this building. Why you play? You're such a yacht rock guy. You're the youngest guy here.
I don't know. I just like it. It's just it's easy listening.
All right, fair enough. So Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. By the way, we'll get to the Dean's List here in just a second. But folks, 3 weeks from today, the NFL season kicks off. And in 2 weeks from today, we'll be bringing the Drive with Tim Donnelly to Carter Finley Stadium. We're in the plaza between Carter Finley and Lenovo Center doing this show live leading up to NC State versus East Carolina. We're going to be out there. We'll have the tent. We'll have our show and everything out there, so come up, talk to us. We'll be there getting ready for kickoff. Very much looking forward to the college football season. But, Max, there's something even bigger in 1 week. It's back. The second annual Numbers Game live show presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill takes place on Thursday, August 21st. That is 1 week from today. Perfect players will battle the clock at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs. Watch as we crown our champion live on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Special thanks to Onsite AV, a full-service event production company, for supplying the sights and sounds for Numbers Game Live. Again, that's 1 week from today, August 21st. Again, you can watch that on YouTube. We're going to stream it live. But if you want to come watch the Numbers Game Live, 5 lucky people will be able to attend with a guest if you subscribe to our newsletter. You want to subscribe to our newsletter? Make sure you text FAN to 919-860-5326. Again, text the keyword FAN, F-A-N, to 919-860-5326. That's a way to sign up for our 99.9 The Fan newsletter. In the newsletter tomorrow, there'll be a code where you can enter to come watch the Numbers Game live in person. So text FAN, 919-860-5326. Text the keyword FAN, F-A-N, to sign up for our newsletter. If you've already signed up and subscribed to our newsletter, you're good to go. And shout out to you because you're the real ones. But sign up, 919-860-5326. Text the keyword FAN. All right, Max, let's get into the Dean's List. First things first on the Dean's List today, the Manning Award watch list. This is something that Tim and I have been doing when it comes to the Dean's List, is that any time that we have one of these college football preseason watch lists for these major awards, we take a look and see who's local, who's involved. The Manning Award is given to the nation's best quarterback. And there are 4 ACC quarterbacks on that list, Max. Cade Klubnik from Clemson. Makes perfect sense. Haynes King, Georgia Tech senior. Also makes sense. Haynes King is a phenomenal college quarterback. I have so much fun watching that guy play because that dude is tough. He'll run the football. He's a pretty good passer as well. I think he's poised as a senior now to have a big year, as long as he stays healthy, obviously. But he definitely takes a lot of hits because of the way he runs the football as well. But Haynes King on that list.
Big week 1 opener for them on that Friday night against Colorado, too, on the road.
Big one. That should be fun. Kevin Jennings, SMU quarterback. Makes sense as well. Actually did not start the year as the starter for the Mustangs last year at SMU. Took over this job pretty early in the season. Obviously, SMU got into the college football playoff after getting to the ACC championship game, ACC regular season champs. So good on Kevin Jennings for getting to that part. But the 4th ACC quarterback as part of the Manning watch list, one of 27 quarterbacks listed. NC State sophomore quarterback CJ Bailey listed there as well. Which I find this pretty fascinating, Max. I know you and Tim talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Some of the, I forget what it was, maybe USA Today, ranked the ACC quarterbacks, and they had CJ Bailey at like 10th.
I think it was lower than that. I'm pretty sure they ranked him like 15th.
Oh, that's right, it was 15th. I take that back. He was ranked all the way down there.
Which is particularly crazy because he was one of the better true freshman quarterbacks in the whole country last year.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It was a little absurd, like 15th. Now, I guess you could say, well, he lost his best receiver, theoretically, in Casey Concepcion. He also has a new offensive coordinator this year. I'm like, okay, I get that. One of his, or a couple of his starting offensive linemen are no longer there anymore. All right, that's a little bit understandable. But he is still bringing back a lot of his offensive weapons. Hollywood Smothers is also coming back. He also has his tight end and Justin Jolie. The offensive coordinator was actually an in-staff hire, so it's not like a completely new offense or you're trying to learn someone completely new. But I was like, shout out to CJ Bailey for being on the early season Manning Award watch list. That's why he makes the Dean's List. Now, players will be added to this list. This list will grow as the season goes along, for sure. Never know. Darian Mensah, the first few weeks of the season, if he pops off and puts up big stats, guess what? His name might get added to the list. We don't know who's starting at quarterback for North Carolina, which it's going to be Gio Lopez, let's be honest. But names will get added to this. But the preseason ACC players named to the 2025 Manning Award preseason watch list, Cade Klubnik from Clemson, Haynes King, Georgia Tech, Kevin Jennings, SMU, and CJ Bailey, NC State. All right, next one up here on the Dean's List. Speaking of guys like Cade Klubnik, CBS Sports actually yesterday put out their preseason All-American list. And at quarterback, Cade Klubnik, Clemson, which a lot of people are projecting to be the number 1 overall pick of the draft potentially this upcoming season. And everything is set up for Clemson and Cade Klubnik to have a monster year.
I think they're probably going to win the national championship this year.
Oh, Max is calling his shot. Max is calling his shot. Say that one more time for the people in the back.
I think Clemson's going to win the national championship.
Let's go ACC. You know what? They probably have the least amount of roster turnover from pretty much all these other top programs.
Yeah, then they're loaded with veterans and impact freshmen. They have 2 guys who could potentially go in like the top 5 of the NFL draft. I don't think it's that crazy. I understand the ACC gets a lot of disrespect these days, but
they do.
They're not going to have too much trouble in conference, that's for sure. So if they can handle week 1 business against LSU, not going to be too much adversity for them, I don't think, and barring like an injury to Cade Klubnik or something like that. But if everything goes to plan, I mean, I just don't see them having too much trouble before getting to the playoff.
I agree. I 100% agree. Now, they have a big game against LSU to start the year. That would definitely tell a lot for sure. Now, other ACC players on the CBS Sports preseason their preseason All-American list. Offensive lineman Francis Mauigoa from Miami also on the list as well. On the offensive side of things, Desmond Reed, the running back out of Pitt, as the all-purpose back. He's a redshirt junior. He's a first-team all-conference last year at 2 positions and preseason All-ACC this year as well. Definitely a heck of a player for sure. Also, another player, Peter Woods, the defensive tackle out of Clemson, also preseason All-American. And also throw in there Pitt linebacker Kyle Lewis. Pitt linebacker Kyle Lewis, who was a all-conference player last year in the ACC, preseason all-conference again this year. Linebacker had 101 tackles last year. That's 7 sacks along with 4 interceptions. 15.5 tackles for a loss. 7 sacks and 4 interceptions as a linebacker? Props to that guy. Redshirt junior. That was his redshirt sophomore season last year. That guy's going to put up a ton of stats this upcoming year. So shout out to everyone that got preseason All-American from CBS. Do you have anyone you want to add to the Dean's List?
I'll go ahead and give a Dean's List shout out to Kent State.
Kent State? Okay,
so,
all right.
For those unaware, Ryan McGee at ESPN, every year he does a bottom 10 ranking. Updates it throughout the college football season, so it keeps it updated. And he just released the first bottom 10 for the 2025 season. Kent State debuting at number 1, went 0-12 last season. Fired their coach, who had a 1-23 record, who actually wasn't apparently fired because of his record, but many other reasons from university leaders, including maxing out his $20,000 P card, which stands for your personal card.
Okay.
Apparently. So, not just because he went 1-23, but that was among the reasons he got fired. Among the bottom 10, Kennesaw State, UMass, Southern Miss, Mexico State, Tulsa, and others. Or some FCS. Tim will not be happy to see Delaware is debuted at number 10 on the bottom 10.
Oh, on the FBS?
Yeah.
Well, he's not here today, so he doesn't have to hear about that. So that's the Dean's List here on the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Tim will be back next week, by the way. He can argue for his Blue Hens at that time. He can argue for his Blue Hens then. It's the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Folks, if you struggle with your weight, like I have, especially as I'm now in my late 30s, or maybe you bounce from one fad diet to the next, you definitely need to listen to this. I can say, this is true numbers here, that in the last 2.5 weeks since I started working with Raleigh Weight Loss Center, in 2.5 weeks, I've lost 23 pounds. 23 pounds in 2.5 weeks. And that's just the start. There's still more weight to lose for me. But it's a start. And I thank the Raleigh Weight Loss Center for that, because the program at Raleigh Weight Loss Center is all about resetting your metabolism in a natural way. No steroids, no shots, no injections. You're not doing HGH or anything like that. Just your body naturally losing anywhere from a half pound to a pound per day in a way where you can also maintain that goal weight. It can be very frustrating when you feel like you're doing all the right things. Like you start eating well, you're doing the exercising, and nothing changes. The results just don't change. Trust me, I've been there. As a former college athlete, and my body just simply doesn't respond to the way it did 20 years ago when I was playing college lacrosse. It's just different nowadays. But this is the lightest I really have been in nearly a decade. And my clothes fit better. I have more energy when I'm active and playing sports. And I'm also just sleeping better as well. My girlfriend keeps telling me, yeah, you're snoring a lot less. You've gotten a lot quieter. Visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com or give them a call, 919-897-7506. Again, 919-897-7506. You can always visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. And if you join up, let them know that you heard about us on 99.9 The Fan. But give them a call if you need to. Phone number one more time, 919-897-7506, Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Results may vary. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We have some of the best high school athletes in the country come from the state of North Carolina. And some of those top athletes we'll see on display actually tomorrow night right here in Raleigh. Joel Bryant, high school OT, joins us to discuss some of the top recruits in the country that are going to be playing tomorrow in a high school OT jamboree, including some that will be sticking in the state of North Carolina. That conversation next.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime, and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Oh, it's perfect, all right.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
One of the things I love about sports in the state of North Carolina, by the way, The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Scoren producing the show. One of the things I love about sports in the state of North Carolina is the fact that not only do we have great pro sports, not only do we have great college sports, but our high school sports are phenomenal as well. And that's why we bring on Joel Bryant, Senior Director, Senior Editor, highschoolot.com. Check out High School OT. Check out the High School OT app. We actually had on Saturday at Wake Forest High School a jamboree of some of the top schools in the entire area. And tomorrow at Southeast Raleigh, we're going to be some more of the high school football teams in the area. Southeast Raleigh High School, Jordan High School, Wilson
Garner,
Prep.
Wake Forest.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good schools that are going to be coming through playing in a jamboree tomorrow. But let's actually go back to Saturday On Saturday at Wake Forest High School, we actually saw, Millbrook has a couple of top 115, 120 recruits.
Yep.
We saw some guys that are, Rolesville was there, which has, 3 guys that are committed to UNC.
Right.
Like, we've seen some of these top guys play this jamboree. How did those guys show out in your mind?
It was pretty cool. It was just it's really like a game atmosphere. And you can tell the players fed off of that. The star players really did their thing. The Rashad Street's kid at Millbrook, he's the top 50 player in the country in 2027 class.
Okay, so he's a junior now, but top 50?
Yeah, he's
okay,
top 50.
That's impressive.
And he just wrecked the entire game against Southeast Raleigh on Saturday night. Really impressive player. The Rolesville guys look good too. Amir Brown, the UNC running back commit, he had the only touchdown for Rolesville in that game, but it was enough for them to beat Cardinal Gibbons in that one. So yeah, all the top players did their thing, and it was a very successful event overall.
How have you seen, just as a whole, I mean, you've been working with high school OT for a long time. I remember I started doing stuff with high school OT when I started here at the Fan 10 years ago. And the level of talent that is starting to come from the Triangle area seems to have really exploded over the last 10 years. What have you seen in terms of just some of the top prospects in the entire country are really starting to come out of this area?
Yeah, I think a lot of the top recruiting services have started to recognize the Triangle as a hotbed for recruits. Obviously, we had Dexter Lawrence back in 2016. He was like #1 player in the country. But since then, we've had so many other guys that I think have appreciated the success of Dexter, and because these services take this area seriously. And we have a lot of guys right now who are 4-star prospects, and they're highly rated because of that. And the talent in this area is really, really good. And I think the schools are starting to notice that. A lot of the local schools are really paying attention to these younger kids and really making them a priority.
I know Dave Doran years ago, by the way, that's Joel Bryant, high school OT, joining us here on the drive here in studio. Because I remember a few years ago, Dave Doran at NC State recruited Ricky Person from Heritage High School, which is in Wake Forest. He also got Drake Thomas and his brother Thayer Thomas. Recruited Peyton Wilson, who was originally a North Carolina commit.
Flipped him.
Yeah, flipped them from Orange High School out there in Hillsboro, and now Peyton Wilson's playing in the NFL. Drake Thomas is trying to make his way into the NFL as well. I mean, Aleem McNeil from Sanderson High School right here in Raleigh. It was a 3rd-round draft pick by the Detroit Lions. They got a big fat contract extension this past year.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and these are guys that all have stayed local. We have seen so many schools from outside of the state of North Carolina come in and take these players away. Why is it vital in your eyes that a lot of these players try and stay local, or at least in-state in some way, shape, or form?
Well, I think it's important because you know that they're just more predisposed to caring about the team they're playing for if they're coming from a local area. The other thing is, we see a lot of kids who, in the modern transfer portal era, they end up transferring kind of back closer to home. So I feel like it's probably a good thing to get those kids in right the first time.
Yeah.
Instead of having to go get them back when they're feeling a little bit homesick later. And from the standpoint of the people that are around them, growing up with them, or helping them grow up, whether it's teachers, parents, coaches, all those people want to help support them in college as well, and that just helps out your program too when more local people are engaged.
And you mentioned a couple of those guys coming back. For example, Noah Rogers at NC State, Wesley Grimes at NC State. Now, Wesley Grimes was at Wake Forest, if I remember correctly, before coming back to NC State. So at least he was in state in that regard. But Noah Rogers from Rolesville High School, 5-star guy, goes to Ohio State, ends up eventually coming back home. Again, that's Joel Bryant, high school OT, joining us here on The Drive. I always love seeing or being able to say, I saw so-and-so before they hit, big. The Jamboree tomorrow, who are potentially some of those names that we can see that could be big-time college players? I know there's a running back commit to NC State that's going to be playing tomorrow as well. There's going to be some guys that are going to be playing probably in-state in some way, shape, or form, whether it's at a school maybe like ECU or an App or maybe even Campbell. There's quite a few good, talented players that will be coming through tomorrow.
Yeah, Southeast Raleigh, the host school, they have 4 commits right now.
Okay.
The quarterback, Tyreek Powell, is going to Gardner-Webb.
All right.
Their star defensive end, Keyshawn Eliezer, is going to Stanford, an ACC school.
Oh, really?
Nowadays.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah,
which will be coming home often.
Right, and that was part of the point of why he wanted to quit the Stanford, because he said, I'll be coming back, a couple times every year to see my friends and family come out to see me. So, yeah, it's an interesting part of it. Robert McCullough, a linebacker for Southeast Raleigh's Campbell commit, and then Christian Freeman, the junior running back, he committed to NC State last month. And so, so they have 4 guys right now who are commit already, and they have a top 100 player in the sophomore class.
Oh, really?
Just ranked yesterday. Yep, a left tackle, Grayson Williams. He's ranked number 51, I believe, by 24/7 Sports in the country. And he's going to be a major, major recruit. So Southeast Raleigh are loaded with college talent.
All right, so Southeast Raleigh has a bunch of talent. We've talked about a couple guys at Millbrook. They have a top 50 player and another top, 120 or so guy committed. So Millbrook's got a couple guys in the junior class that are some of the top recruits in the country. You mentioned now a top 50 guy in the sophomore class. I mean, where do you think, in terms of this trend that we're seeing, like is there a cap on this? Like, do you think like the talent is going to be is it going to peak here, or do you think that eventually it's just, with so many people moving to this area, it's just going to continue just to grow and grow?
Yeah, I think the talent will keep growing. It's just where people come from. They come from places that love football already, and they're coming to an area that loves football. So I think those two things kind of come together and help that. I think the interesting thing to follow is we're seeing that this talent is kind of congregating at the same schools. So they're figuring out a way to play together in high school. That's what's happening at Millbrook and Rollsville right now. Both those schools are loaded with prospects. And I think that's something that's a trend we might continue to see happen. For whatever reason, these guys want to play together, and that's just what we've been seeing lately.
I'm curious how that works with so many people moving in, because where I went to school, I grew up in the state of Virginia, is that if you lived in this area, you went to that school. How does that work here in the state for people that may not know about how these players are able to find ways to play with each other?
So
again, with public schools.
Well, they're getting an address in the district, some way, shape, or form. And really a lot of it is, these guys played together in youth football, so they're friends. And then the parents kind of do the thing where they kind of get together and figure out, like, hey, how do we get our sons playing together? And a lot of it is a parent thing.
Okay.
The parents figuring it out. So yeah, I think it's kind of followed in the mold of what we've seen just in the development of pro sports and college sports, where guys are making super teams. And I think the high schoolers are kind of replicating that.
So we can blame LeBron for this. Is that what
I told somebody, these are the kids that grew up and they saw Kevin Durant join the 70-win Warriors.
That's true.
And I think we see a lot of stuff like that. And it's just become kind of normal since that happened, I think.
It really has, because it's a culture thing that we see in sports, is that, kids are influenced by what pros are doing, and they see, these super teams and stuff get together. They feel like that's the norm, because these kids are 16, 17, 18 years old.
Yeah.
And they saw this stuff taking place when they were 6, 7, 8 years old.
To them.
This is normal to them.
Yeah.
Whereas, transfer portals and kids moving to school, that's normal for them now. When I was in school, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
That's just the normal thing. The only way you actually moved to school was if you were in a public school, you went to a private school. Or if you simply just moved, like your family moved 20 minutes away to go to a different school. That's how it worked. But granted, I grew up in a smaller area than we have here in Wake County. So it's all pretty fascinating to me. That's Joel Bryant, High School OT. Again, check out all of his work, highschoolot.com. People can watch the Jamboree tomorrow directly at Southeast Raleigh High School. What time does it begin?
Yeah, it starts at 6 o'clock. Tickets are $10 for all 4 games.
Okay.
So it's a good time. It's a good, kind of warm up for the season. The coaches like doing it because, it's kind of a game atmosphere. The players can kind of, get a feel for a game atmosphere, especially the ones that are coming up from JV that don't have that varsity game night experience. So it's a good deal. It's a good way to kind of ramp up for week 1.
And if, for example, there's an NC State fan that wants to watch a prospect that's coming to their team, how can people, if they can't attend, how can they also watch?
Yeah, highschoolot.com will be streaming it, and also all of our channels out there, YouTube, Facebook, X. We've been streaming it everywhere. And I think for the Wake Forest Jamboree, we're up to 60,000 views on all of those different game streams. So yeah, it was a wildly popular event, and we're expecting it's probably popular as well.
I appreciate and love high school sports, obviously, because I played it, but high school sports are so ingrained in community, and that's what makes it so fun. It's like you don't actually have to know somebody at a school to go enjoy your local high school game. For people that want to get into local sports and just be part of your community, high school sports is a way to do it. It's a great thing to do on a Friday night.
Yeah, I would say, we just had the whole conversation about high school transfers, but I would say for any, college football fans who are kind of worn out by the current state of college football, I think you can find a lot of stuff that made you fall in love with college football at the high school level still.
Yeah.
There are some things in high school that are a little bit different, but I think as far as that atmosphere, that kind of ambiance, you get the bands going, a lot of it feels similar to, I think, maybe the college football people grew up with. So I would say, if you haven't been out to a high school game in a while, just look up your local high school and find out when their next home game is and just give it a shot.
And there's just a ton of talent.
Yeah.
There really is just a lot of really, really good talent. I've been fortunate enough through high school OT to have covered a lot of these guys that we mentioned earlier. Lee McNeil, Peyton Wilson, guys that are in the NFL.
Yeah.
That came right here out of high school. Dexter Lawrence. Gosh, got to see that guy.
One guy tomorrow that has a chance, a 4-star at Jordan High School, Noah Clark. He's a top 200-ish player in the country. He plays both ways for them, but he'll be a defensive lineman only at South Carolina, where he committed. So that's another guy to watch out for tomorrow.
So you got to keep these guys in state.
Yeah.
Got to keep these guys in state. Joel Bryant, thank you so much. Again, check out highschoolot.com. The Jamboree tomorrow at Southeast Raleigh, 6 o'clock. If you can't make it, check it out on highschoolot.com and all their social media platforms you can watch there. Joel, thanks for your time. Good, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9. The Fan, Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Something we can all learn from the Carolina Panthers. Life lesson from the Carolina Panthers. Next.
Hi, it's me, Flo, here to tell you that with the Progressive Home and Auto Bundle, you get 24/7 protection, so you're covered no matter where the day takes you.
Even I added too much water to the pizza dough day?
Yep.
How about getting a call from my daughter to pick her up at the airport because her boyfriend is unreliable day?
Especially that day.
What about finding out that one of my pipes suddenly burst in my basement day?
Progressive has every day covered 24/7 with a Home and Auto Bundle. Also, you have a lot of bad days.
Oh no, that was all the same day.
At least you're covered with Progressive.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teens require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
I'm attorney Brian Richie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It is a WRAL weather alert day. It's still really warm and muggy out there. We'll see pockets of heavy rain, some heavy downpours in spots. 73 overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, we start to change the pattern. It'll be a little drier, a little bit more sunshine, fewer thunderstorms, a high of 90, and it'll be the first time we've hit 90 this month.
Weather update brought to you by Nukem and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit nukemandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down just 11 points to 44,911.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
It's a drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorham producing the show today. Carolina Panthers here for football at 4 had their joint practice with the Houston Texans today down in Texas. It was hot by all accounts. Preseason game coming up this Saturday. Something I said earlier this week when I was filling in for Adam Gold. I said this on Monday, and I want to reiterate that today going into this second preseason game for the Carolina Panthers. I say that who's going to be this week's Jalen Coker and Corey Thornton? Because last week on Friday, We saw Jalen Coker and Corey Thornton take advantage of their opportunities. The reason why I said this going into the break is that these are life lessons that I think we can actually draw away from when watching the Carolina Panthers this weekend. And the reason why I say it's a life lesson in this regard is that no matter what your profession is, whether you are in some sort of business or managerial role, whether you're a pro athlete, whether you work in the broadcast industry, whatever it might be, and if you want to move up in your profession, you want to move up ranks either within your company or somewhere else, if you are given the opportunity to show what you can do, you have to maximize that opportunity. You have to take advantage of it right from the jump. No excuse of, well, it's my first time doing it. People don't want to hear an excuse. If you're given the opportunity to do something, show that you can do it. Not just do it, but do it extremely well. And I said that last week about Jalen Coker on Friday in that preseason game against the Cleveland Browns. Because on Friday in the preseason game against the Browns, Hunter Renfrow didn't play in that game. And then also during the course of that game, wide receiver Xavier Legette, about 2 plays into the second drive, 3 plays into the second drive, gets ejected from the game. Well, now who gets those snaps? It's Jalen Coker. So because Xavier Legette got kicked out of the game, and rightfully so, now Coker gets those snaps. And the offense didn't miss a beat. Did everything he needed to do from all of his assignments, his blocking, everything that he needed to do, he did it. Let's not forget as well that on the play before his touchdown catch, Tetairoa McMillan dropped his. So guess what came of that? Another opportunity to show what you can do. And on a scramble play to his right, Bryce Young finds who? Jalen Coker in the back of the end zone. Jalen Coker, if it wasn't for Xavier Legette, shouldn't even been on the field. If Jalen Coker shouldn't have caught that touchdown if Tetairoa McMillan had caught his. So Jalen Coker took advantage of every single opportunity that was given to him in that game. In situations then that he wasn't supposed to be in there, but who's walking away with a lot of praise on Friday? Oh, yeah, Jalen Coker. Yeah, he did, see the move he made in the back of the end zone, when Bryce redirected him? Oh, that's a great touchdown catch. Oh, that one-handed catch he had from Andy Dalton in the second quarter, maybe granted it got called back because of a penalty, but you see what he did with someone draped over his left arm, made that one-handed catch. Now he's getting all the praise and love, and he's reminding everyone what he's capable of doing because he had that opportunity. Same thing with Corey Thornton. Corey Thornton, undrafted rookie, just like Jalen Coker was last year. Undrafted rookie out of Louisville. Showed well in practice during the week, or just really during training camp over the first couple weeks. Did well in the joint practice. Hey, J.C. Horn, just before the joint practice on Wednesday last week, gets in a fender-bender car accident. Gets a laceration on his left hand that needs stitches. Oh, guess who can't play? J.C. Horn. Hey, Corey. Friday for the game when our starting defense is out there, we need you out there. Because J.C. Horn couldn't play. Hey, here's your opportunity. You know what he did? Played great in man coverage. Came up and made runs, stops in the run game at or behind the line of scrimmage with the starting defense out there. Took advantage of his opportunity. And now guess who got a lot of praise? Corey Thornton. He was getting a lot of praise beforehand, but now he actually had an opportunity to show it with the starting defense in a game. And guess what? Took advantage of that opportunity. That's the reason why I say it's a life lesson. Remember, actually, I've talked to, for example, keep tied back here local, Jalen Chatfield of the Carolina Hurricanes. Talk about somebody that had to work his way through the minors after being undrafted. Finally got an opportunity to play a little bit with the Vancouver Canucks. Played well in those games. Then comes to the Carolina Hurricanes because they saw something in him. Took advantage of that ice time. Became an NHL regular. And then this past season, because of shuffling in the lineup for the Carolina Hurricanes, hey, not only did you prove that you could be an everyday NHL player, now you got to go prove that you could be a top 4 defenseman. And he did that because he took advantage of his opportunities when they were presented to him. So which Panthers going into Saturday need to be this week's Jalen Coker and this week's Corey Thornton? I'm going to give you 4 guys. And these first ones are a joint one, I guess you could say. Thomas Incoom and DJ Johnson. Both outside linebackers. There are 4 outside linebackers that are guaranteed to make this roster. It's DJ Wanham, Pat Jones, they're the veteran players, and the 2 rookie edge rushers in Nick Scorton and Princely Umamiel, second and third round picks. Those 4 guys are making the team. But they're probably going to keep a spot for a 5th. Now, Nick Scorton left practice today with some heat-related complications. They took him to a cooling area to get his body temperature down, gave him some IVs to prevent dehydration. And Dave Canales says that hopefully he can play on Saturday. But in practice, well, who's getting those reps now? DJ Johnson and Thomas Incoom. Those guys are the ones getting those reps. DJ Johnson was a third-round pick in 2023, where the Panthers actually used a third and fourth-round pick to trade up to draft him. He has a half a sack combined in 2 seasons. That's it. Thomas Incoom, in Friday's preseason game against Cleveland, had a sack and had 3 tackles on special teams in that preseason game against Cleveland. And that 5th spot amongst the outside linebackers is going to be reserved for a guy that can play on special teams. But also, if we need you in a pinch on defense, can you make sure that the floor of our defense doesn't fall? Not asking you to go out there and make tremendous plays, because if you're doing that, then there wouldn't be a question. That to make sure the floor of our defense doesn't drop. One guy's going to get that spot. And especially if Nick Scorton doesn't play on Saturday, well, when the second unit gets out there, well, it's not going to be Scorton and Umamiel, and if Scorton can't go, if he's still recovering from the heat-related complications, well, that's going to be either Incoom or DJ Johnson. Those are opportunities for you. Go take advantage of it. Only one of you is making this team. And one of it, it's not even guaranteed that one of you will make it. Right now, it looks like it's Incoom's to take. If he gets more reps, take advantage of it. The other one, another one I'll throw out for you, is Shamar Bartholomew. Shamar Bartholomew is a second-year corner with the Carolina Panthers, as someone that the Panthers had claimed off of waivers at cutdown day last year off the New York Jets. So he was an undrafted free agent last year, signed with the Jets, showed really well in the joint practice between the Jets and the Panthers, also played well in that preseason game, to the point where when the Jets let him go, hopefully they were intent on placing him on their practice squad. The Carolina Panthers said, no, we want you over here. Now, he didn't really, because he was still learning the defense as the season was going along, didn't really get a lot of snaps last year at all on defense until really week 18, the final game of the season. But now you're in your second year. You have a full offseason to train with the team. You know the defense. But now there's a guy by the name of Corey Thornton who surpassed you on the depth chart. But J.C. Horn isn't playing again this upcoming weekend. Every snap matters for you. And you never know. Mike Jackson might get a couple of snaps off. Maybe he only plays 2 series. Just protect him. Maybe he goes out there for only 2 series when the rest of the starters on defense go out there for a third. Well, who's going to be that other corner that goes out there? That's you, Shamar. Corey Thornton's going to run with the starters again. But that means you need to take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Go get your hands on the ball if you can. Don't give up anything big. Don't give up a first down. Secure all your tackles. Whatever it is that you got to do, you have to show when you get the chance that you belong on this team. Because right now, at outside corner, it feels like it's J.C. Horn, Mike Jackson, Corey Thornton. Shamar Bartholomew is Charles Smith-Wade is the slot corner, and question marks after that. And the final name I'll mention, might be a surprise a little bit at this one, Max. Hunter Renfrow. Again, take advantage of your opportunities. It's Hunter Renfrow. He missed a whole week of practice due to injury with his hamstring. Didn't play in the joint practice, didn't play in the preseason game last week with Cleveland, which left the aforementioned door to Jalen Coker, like I mentioned earlier, to take advantage of that opportunity because he wasn't there. Well, guess what? More reps for Coker, more reps for Jimmy Horn Jr. We all, or at least most of us, remember what Hunter Renfrow was. Keyword was. Is he still that player that we saw in 2021 that had over 100 catches and over 1,000 yards receiving in 2021? It's hard to go through the stuff that his body went through with ulcerative colitis for the last several years. His weight, for those of you who know, his body weight dropped down to 150 pounds. He missed football all of last year. He had to go through all that, then be a high-level athlete again. That's a difficult thing for anyone to do. It's difficult enough for a player who's in really good shape to sustain an injury and work their way back. I mean, Derek Brown is still working his way back from the meniscus tear that he suffered last year. Apparently the knee is all good, but he has to wear a brace, at least what we've seen so far. Still has to work through it. What Hunter Renfrow had to go through is extreme. So to go through what he went through and had to endure, that's tough. Now, trust me, I've seen all the route running and stuff from practice from this offseason from Hunter Renfrow. I've been at practices. I was there at minicamp. I was there some days in training camp. I was there at granted, he didn't play in the preseason game or in the Fan Fest. I've seen all the videos, and some of the videos that are posted online are videos that I've taken. Seeing what you can do in practice is one thing. But he needs to be actually out there on the field making plays and actually show that he can still do this. His opportunities are going to be limited this preseason. The Panthers might not keep 7 wide receivers. Most teams carry 6. He needs to be actually out there on the field making plays. And the wide receiver competition, it's fierce. And Bryce Young was actually asked about it today at joint practice about said wide receiver competition.
Yeah, just stepping up to competition. Coach talks about not trying to raise our level, but to make sure we sync to the level of our training and technique. And you see them just being who they are, consistent. And it seems like they're stepping up. In reality, they're doing exactly what the coaches are saying, being consistent on a day-to-day. You see that it brings out the best in all of us, gives us that ability to see tighter, have more focus. So yeah, like you said, it's an extremely competitive group. It's unfortunate how NFL is that we can't keep all of them because they all deserve it based on how hard they work, how much they produce. So obviously that'll be a front office thing, but we have confidence in all the guys across the board.
He's right. Someone's not going to make it. It's just what it is. Now, granted, there could be an injury that happens at some point. Knock on wood, you don't want to see it, but it's a reality of sports. It's something we all potentially could see. He's got to show that he can actually do it in games. Can his body actually hold up? That's actually a big question I have with Hunter Renfrow. It's like, okay, he looks in shape now, but do you feel like his body is going to be able to hold up when we hit week 5, week 6? Can he still produce? It's a major question. Again, with his body, what it went through, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to just assume that he can get back to that kind of NFL level again and be able to produce. But if he is at his previous level, I feel like if they're only taking 6 receivers instead of 7, I feel like the pretty obvious odd man out would be David Moore. Yeah. I understand that he's a bit of a safety blanket and he has the history with Canales and everything, but purely like on a talent standpoint and production standpoint, like that seems like the easiest move to make if you're, for whatever reason, you're completely committed to bringing 6 instead of 7.
And also keep this in mind as well, is that Hunter Renfrow is on a 1-year contract, veteran minimum, nothing guaranteed. He literally has nothing guaranteed. I think it actually was probably it's like literally $50,000 to sign. That's what he got. That's it. So there's nothing guaranteed for him this season at all. So take advantage of your opportunities. Again, that's a life lesson for anyone out there. If you get a chance to go, do it. I tell this to young athletes all the time. You never know when your opportunity is going to go. I mean, make it to the point where if you get a chance to play, you play to the point where they have no choice but to keep you in the lineup. That's what Seth Jarvis did. Seth Jarvis made the team as a rookie for the Carolina Hurricanes a couple years ago because he played so well in camp. It's like, how do we take this guy out? We can't leave this guy off the roster this upcoming season. We can't send him back to juniors. That's what Jackson Blake did. Take advantage of your opportunities. So Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Speaking of taking advantage of opportunities, as a motorcycle rider, if I have an opportunity to ride my motorcycle, I try and take advantage of those opportunities. But I also know that there have been times where my bike has been parked for extended periods of time because of either just being really busy, the weather being terrible, whatever it might be. I have to make sure my bike is in proper working order before I'm back out there on the road. There's actually a stretch of about, because of all the rain that we've had, there's a stretch of about 5 weeks where my motorcycle was just parked in the driveway. I had to make sure my bike was in good working order before I got back out there on the road. And part of that was actually testing my motorcycle just in a parking lot right by my house to make sure that everything was working properly before I went out there on the road. Do everything you can to be safe when you're out there on the road. But unfortunately, accidents do happen, and there's always a higher risk on a motorcycle that you can be injured in an accident. And this is where Law Tigers steps in to help you. Give Law Tigers a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. Even before you contact your insurance company, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, because Law Tigers are part of the motorcycle riding community, and they are there for you. Insurance companies, let's be honest, they just want to give you the least amount possible. They just care about keeping the money for themselves. Whereas Law Tigers, they fight for every single dollar that you can get in your case. That's why your case evaluation is always free, and they actually don't get paid a dime until your case settles. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. We talked a little bit, or actually talked a good amount about the Carolina Panthers. Max and I are going to give you where we are concerned and confident when it comes to the Carolina Panthers, but also, are people concerned about Major League Baseball not coming to Raleigh after Tom Dundon has purchased the Portland Trail Blazers? We'll discuss that and more next.
Move your sports day forward.
The reality of how to fill time as an unemployed former football coach have taken the spotlight, and it's predictable. Jimbo Fisher wants to coach again just weeks after taking an ACC TV gig, and John Gruden collects swag while telling everyone he wants a college shot in the SEC. Old habits are hard to break, but really, who's going to say no to either guy?
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Sports can be unpredictable. Your elevator shouldn't be. That's why you need Metro Elevator, Raleigh's hometown team for expert commercial elevator service. Locally owned and operated, we specialize in keeping your building moving with top-tier repair, maintenance, modernization, and installation. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service to ensure your elevators run smoothly. No surprises, just results. Trust Raleigh's own Metro Elevator to keep you moving. Learn more at metro-elevator.com/Raleigh.
Hello, I'm Jen, and I work in the service department with Nukem & Company in the Triangle. I've worked at Nukem & Company for over a decade and can tell you firsthand our comfort contract is hands down the best way to stay worry-free and comfortable in your home. In fact, the program works so well, we have over 4,000 customers who use it. Folks love it because when you sign up for the comfort contract, you get the best service Nukem offers. We prioritize contract members with same-day service, priority scheduling, and emergency after-hours calls, so there's no waiting when your system needs help. On top of that, Nukem & Company is a proud independent train dealer. We back exceptional train products with our expert service, and we treat your home like it's our own. It's hard to stop a train, and it's hard to beat Nukem & Company service. Call 919-862-3000 or visit nukemandcompany.com to learn more about our comfort contract. Nukem & Company. Your comfort is our business.
Coming up here in about 10 minutes, we're going to discuss a little bit about MLB to Raleigh. And I know a lot of people are concerned about the potential of Major League Baseball coming to Raleigh because, let's be honest, it's all just a want at this point. It's all just wishing. It's just wanting. There's nothing really concrete saying this might be actually in motion. We'll discuss that a little bit more here in 10 minutes, as well as what Panthers cons and cons coming up. But Max, at this time, it's time for a little bit of a ladder challenge. Time for us to maybe place some bets. Now, normally the ladder challenge is Tim Donnelly and myself. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly here this afternoon on The Drive. Normally it's Tim Donnelly and myself are going through a challenge on the ladder challenge, and it's a series of bets that we place where we have to place a bet that's in a most likely to win category, anywhere between minus 500 to minus 1,000 odds. And we place a single bet every single day. We start at $10. And then if you win that bet, you take the winning and the stakes and you roll that into the next bet. And then if you win that again, you continue to roll things over day after day after day. And if you lose, you go back down to $10. And whomever has the most money at the end of the month wins. That's just how it works. But because Tim is not here, and I'm sitting over here from the producer's chair, and Max is sitting over there where I normally sit, Max, you and I were going to do for the ladder challenge, you and I each are just going to place 3 bets for tonight. And we'll just see who does well. Doesn't matter what the odds are. We're just going to make 3 bets for tonight. Max, I'll let you go ahead and start things off here for the ladder challenge.
Oh, my God! And for the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy. For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab in half.
Alrighty, so before I say anything, let's preface this. Everything I say is certainly not gambling advice, and I would not recommend you follow it because with my track record, and those who listen to the show often will know that I do not win often, although I did pick Justin Rose to win the FedEx St. Jude Championship last weekend, and that was plus 2,000. So that was a good pick.
Hey, that's big money right there.
Yeah, that was a rare, nice win there.
Well done, sir.
But we're not picking any golf today. I'm gonna go from my shortest odds to longest odds, so like lowest payout to highest payout. So my first pick, there is ATP Cincinnati going on in tennis right now. It's a Masters 1000. It's a big event.
Okay.
American Ben Shelton's going up against Yuri Lehecka. He is minus 150. I will go with the American Ben Shelton there.
All right, my first one, I'm actually going to go straight to Major League Baseball. Juan Soto hits a home run, plus 265 for the Mets. Simple. Done. Max, what's your next one?
Sticking with tennis, I got another little parlay here. 2 of the better women's players in the world are in action tonight. This is a little parlay. Iga Swiatek in straight sets, that's 2-0. And Arina Sabalenka to win as well. Those 2 parlayed together are plus 140. So $10 would return $24.
Okay. My next one here is I have another home run in Major League Baseball. Who doesn't love home runs? My next one is actually Riley Green of the Detroit Tigers, plus 270 to hit a home run today against the Minnesota Twins. So give me that one for sure.
Yeah, Twins are in a bad way as of recently. They traded away basically their whole roster at the deadline there, so it's been a rough go for them. So definitely a good chance for the Tigers to tee off on them today, especially, and they have Stabil on the mound as well, so it could be ugly for the Twins today.
All right, what's your final pick?
Final pick. I'll be joining you on the diamond again with another parlay. This is the one. I'm hoping if I win one of these 3 picks that this is the one because it's pretty juicy. I'm taking the Guardians, the Tigers, and the Mets all on the run line. Actually, all minus 1.5 runs. That is plus 927. So $10 returns $120.70. I'm not very good at quick on-air math.
That's fair. It's all right. Neither is Tim.
It'd be a little bit over $100.
Yeah, neither is Tim.
102, I think.
That's all good. That's what it is. My final pick, just give me the Rockies straight up on the money line, plus 144 against the Diamondbacks at home. That's it. Those are my picks tonight. That's our ladder challenge today. So out of joint practice today, by the way, it's the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Scoren producing the show today. Every Thursday at this time, we get into a little thing we call cons and cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
Confidence and concerns. We're actually going to do this as a Carolina Panthers edition today because they had a joint practice today against the Houston Texans. We've seen them play in a preseason game against the Cleveland Browns. So we have ourselves confidence and concerns right now when it comes to the Carolina Panthers. Max, I'll go and start with you. We'll always start with concerns because, as Tim would say, people say good news, bad news. Which would you like first? You always say, hey, give me the bad news. What's your concern when it comes to the Carolina Panthers?
My concern is going to be on the defensive side of the ball, which is fairly, obvious for anyone who watched last year. But specifically when it comes to the secondary and linebacking depth, we've already seen some kind of minor bumps and bruises and illnesses so far in camp. But if there's like a major injury to a significant member of the defense, particularly in those two position groups, then the benches beyond them are a little bit thin. We kind of mentioned this in the last segment of Football at 4. Some guys are stepping up, like Corey Thornton or Shamar Bartholomew. But just got to stay healthy because, the depth there, and there's, especially the inside linebacker position, like, there's not really anyone that's really jumping off the page at you. I think, and I've been saying this a few times recently, I think maybe in the next draft they're going to target probably someone in that position to kind of bolster that group. But I'm just worried. Hopefully they can get into the regular season, no injuries. But I'm concerned, one, about the depth there, and then two, with the, just the little bumps and bruises that have happened. The car accident with J.C. Horn, and the heat exhaustion for Nick Gordon. Obviously, that's not something that will hopefully carry over, but that's my concern, is just kind of the depth in those areas.
My concern when it comes to the Carolina Panthers is very similar along those same lines. Mine is who's going to start at free safety? That's been a question going in this offseason. They signed Trayvon Merrick as an addition this offseason from the Vegas Raiders, and he's more of a player that plays up towards the line of scrimmage, plays up, as they call, in the box, and makes plays in that area, and is going to help tremendously in the run game. But who's that deep free safety? We did see Nick Scott start the preseason game against the Cleveland Browns as the quote-unquote starter. He's listed as number 1 on the depth chart because he's a more experienced player, has familiarity with the defense, and that is something, in my eyes, that is a question mark. Because now, granted, Dave Canales did say having Nick Scott back there allows him to help out Trayvon Merrick because more familiarity with the defense, being a veteran, that he can help Trayvon Merrick get lined up and discuss coverages and stuff out there on the field, as opposed to relying upon a rookie like Lathan Ransom or a second-year player in Damani Richardson, who began last season on the practice squad as an undrafted free agent. Now, there were times in some sub-packages where we saw both Nick Scott and Damani Richardson on the field together, but I want to know who takes over that free safety spot, or is it just something by committee that we potentially see as well? So that's my big concern. So it's not just defensive depth. Like, there's still a starting position that I still have a major question about when it comes to that defense. Now, I'm going to go for confidence. I'll go for cons and cons, confidence and concerns. I'm going to go with for cons. I'll go ahead and start this one off here, Max. My confidence is their versatility that they actually have with their offensive line. So we have seen this Panthers team bring back all 9 of their top offensive linemen from last year. Obviously, their 5 starters with Ekwonu, Lewis, Corbett, Robert Hunt, and Taylor Moton, but also the depth guys that we saw play last year. Brady Christensen, who has starting experience as well. Not just from last season, but he was a full-time starter just a couple of years ago. But Brady Christensen, Cade Mays, Chandler Zavala, Yosh Nijman, all these guys that were top backups for this team all came back. And also include Jarek Kingston, who was on the team last year as a 10th offensive lineman, someone that they claimed off of waivers on cut-down day last year. Even he is back as well. But we have seen injuries so far on the offensive line. We saw early on a patellar tendon injury to Chandler Zavala that is keeping him out week to week. He might be on injured reserve to start the season. We'll see. Chandler Zavala being an NC State guy. But also Damian Lewis, their starting left guard, suffered a shoulder injury last week in the joint practice against the Cleveland Browns. Now, because of the depth that they have on the offensive line, Cade Mays and Austin Corbett were competing for the the starting center position, in which Dave Canales said Austin Corbett is our starter at center. But Cade Mays has a ton of experience playing as a guard as well. So we actually saw, as the starting left guard today with the first unit, Cade Mays actually playing at left guard. So again, the versatility of what the offensive line can do is that they can sustain 2 injuries at one position and still have a guy with starting experience and someone who played pretty decently last year as a center can slide over into that position, and the offense hopefully doesn't miss a beat. But also we've seen Brady Christensen can play anywhere across the offensive line as well. So having that positional flexibility, Max, in my eyes, and that versatility is a big thing for the offensive line in order to keep Bryce Young upright. What's your confidence when it comes to the Carolina Panthers?
I'm confident in the kid, Teteroa McMillan.
Okay.
Everything that we've seen, all the highlights, everything we've heard from Dave Canales and from media around practices and everything has been really overwhelmingly positive. And he's made some really good catches in some of these highlights as well. It's clear that he can go up and get it against, darn near anybody. I mean, he was showcasing that in college, and even though it's just been camp and preseason so far, like, he's shown that he has that kind of vertical threat, which the Panthers have not really had over the last couple of seasons, even when they had DJ Moore as that kind of bona fide number one. It's not like he was known as much for being such a vertical threat, as much as someone who could get open and run really good routes. So having that big X receiver out there who can go up and get it, and maybe you can even gamble on a couple of one-on-one plays because you're confident that he can go get it. I'm confident that he will go get it. And I think he's going to step into that role as a top receiver for the Panthers this year and be a really useful tool and help be a good partnership with Bryce Young and keep increasing his confidence as well, because when we see a confident Bryce, that's when we see the peak of what he's able to do.
Hopefully he can grow into that, being that number one receiver. I always say temper expectations when it comes to rookies, because he's still a rookie. We saw some of the mistakes, a couple drops that we saw in the preseason game number one against Cleveland, but that's why you have these reps. Hey, you got to get used to game speed. My big concern, speaking of concerns, my big concern is that sometimes that what we project a player to be in terms of what a player's ceiling can be isn't what they're going to be right away. They're not going to – players don't just generally, not all, very few do, just step in and just come in and just be the dude right away. It's very difficult, especially for a guy like McMillan coming from a Big 12 school where, hey, guess what? Now you got to play consistently in press coverage against a guy with the physical abilities of J.C. Horn. You weren't doing that every week in Arizona. So there's a consistency thing that needs to be built in as well. But the upside for Teteroa McMillan is certainly there. 100% is. That's Cons and Cons, Carolina Panthers version today. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorham producing the show today. By the way, if you missed any of the show, make sure you subscribe to the Best of the Drive podcast wherever you get your podcast. Apple, Spotify, you name it, we're there. But another way that you can be part of the show is actually following us on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, search 99.9 The Fan. You can watch the full show live. You can watch the entire thing right there live. We stream it live. And if you miss any of the show, guess what? The entire show lives right there on our YouTube page. So you can watch it there as well. You can go back and listen to certain segments if you want to. We also we post videos from the show on there, and we actually encourage you all to leave comments because, for example, in 10 minutes, we're going to have a feedback frenzy where we read your comments about the stuff that we have discussed here on this show. So that's where feedback frenzy comes in. So make sure that you not only subscribe, but comment and like on the videos that you see, but also hit that little notification bell because when we do put out videos, you won't miss one.
Yeah, you'll be the first to know. Actually, we had Austin Wright in our YouTube chat saying Teteroa McMillan had 2 touchdowns in joint practice today.
He did.
Some more good stats for him. But
he did.
We actually just hit 18,500 subscribers on the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 20,000, so get in there. It's free. Hit that subscribe button. You'll be the first to know whenever we drop some new content, and you can stay on top of everything going on in the sports world.
20,000. Help us get there, folks. By the way, there's a lot of people that watch that aren't subscribed. Just, help us out. Hit the little subscribe button here for us. Now, maybe you can leave your thoughts in the comments, even on our YouTube live chat, about Major League Baseball. There are a lot of people in this area that want to see a Major League Baseball team in Raleigh. And actually, we ran a poll on our YouTube live yesterday asking people, do you want to see a Major League Baseball team in Raleigh? And about 73% of the responses said yes. So roughly about 3/4 of the people watching said, yes, we'd like to see a Major League Baseball team in Raleigh. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that would say, if there's a team here, great. But if there's not, fine, whatever. Some people might be a little bit more apathetic or indifferent towards it. Some people just enjoy going to minor league baseball. I mean, go to a Durham Bulls game. They're a blast. Now, through a statement yesterday, Tom Dundon, the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, did say that he's still interested in bringing Major League Baseball to the Triangle. Now, this is on the heels of him purchasing or leading a group of some other investors, but he's the head guy, the tip of the spear, I guess you could say, where he's probably going to be the majority owner of the team, but they are buying the Portland Trail Blazers for just north of $4 billion. I say that again, $4 billion. Now, wanting and interested in bringing a team to the Triangle, and it actually happened, it's a two-way street. First of all, obviously you need to have the money to start things up. You got to be able to fund a stadium. You got to have the land for said stadium, the infrastructure to get to and from said stadium, which is all likely going to need or a big chunk of that's going to come from public funds as well. So if the state of North Carolina or whatever it's Wake County, whoever it might be, doesn't want to put the money up or only is willing to put together some of the money, well, then guess what? That makes things a little bit more difficult. Now, while you certainly can have a lot of investors from equity firms and so on and private investment funds and whatever it might be, you still need to have corporate sponsors backing to keep a franchise running on a year-to-year basis. That's naming rights to a stadium, along with other sponsors and stuff that you see outside of stadiums. For example, I went to a game at San Francisco back in July. My girlfriend and I took a vacation out there in California. We went to a San Francisco Giants game at Oracle Park. We saw Oracle, which is a big tech company, but we also saw Levi's, which like the denim jeans, which also has the naming rights for Levi Stadium where the San Francisco 49ers play. But we saw Heinz Ketchup, and we saw a whole bunch of other different stuff out there. Coca-Cola. We saw a whole bunch of other sponsors out there, even though the name of the park is Oracle Park. You need more than just the naming rights of the stadium. You need more. For example, the Lenovo Center that used to be PNC Arena. Well, PNC, they have the PNC Club, which is still part of PNC Bank. So you still need to have the corporate sponsors in order to make sure you can fund a season for a team. People have mentioned, well, we have Amazon coming to the area, or Apple supposedly bringing a campus here, Google. Well, none of these entities that I just mentioned, these three big conglomerates or just big companies, Google, Amazon, or Apple, none of these entities have naming rights to any stadium. I did the research on it today. They don't have any naming rights to any stadium. Now, those entities, again, don't have naming rights to a stadium, and you don't see their names when it comes to seeing stuff. And when you're actually at games, like, for example, we were in San Francisco, big giant tech area. I didn't see anything Google related or anything along those lines. Heck, in downtown San Francisco, where the Golden State Warriors play, it's the Chase Center, which is a bank. You don't see their names when it comes to games. All those companies spend their money to have sports on their platforms. Google owns YouTube, which has a deal with the NFL for a Friday night game this year, as well as they obviously own YouTube TV, which has the rights for NFL Sunday Ticket. Amazon has Thursday Night Football NFL games, along with some select others that they're going to have, like the Black Friday game. They also have gotten into the NBA with games now, and they've even got to the point where you can actually add FanDuel Sports Network through your Amazon Prime account to watch regional sports, like the Carolina Hurricanes. Apple's in bed with Major League Soccer to watch their games. You have to go through Apple to watch Major League Soccer. So who is going to be the big corporate backer to put their naming rights on the stadium? SAS, another big tech company in this area, sponsors a Champions Tour golf event every year, but their name hasn't been on a stadium since 2007. When they sponsor the soccer park in Cary, which became Wake Med Soccer Park, which is now First Horizon Stadium at Wake Med Soccer Park in Cary, which is where the North Carolina Courage play. Another question you have to answer as well is, does Major League Baseball want North Carolina? Do they want to expand? Is there a relocation? It's a legit, real question. Because Las Vegas, in the last 8 years, has added both an NHL team and an NFL team. And they're adding a Major League Baseball team because the Oakland Athletics are moving to Vegas. And the population size of Las Vegas compared to the Triangle, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same. But Major League Baseball isn't afraid to go to Vegas because Vegas, there's a sex appeal to Vegas. Nashville gets brought up quite often because, again, population size, very similar to the Triangle. Triangle is obviously one of the fastest growing areas in the entire country. But Nashville gets brought up a lot. They have an NHL team. They have an NFL team. Who's to say they won't add a Major League Baseball team either? I know they're building a new stadium for their football team, but if you can add another team to their area, I'm sure they'll find the funds because, let's be honest, they'll find a way, especially if a move doesn't happen for at least 5 to 10 years. People will bring up, again, as I just mentioned, people will bring up population numbers, number of tourists and visitors each year. But let's be honest. Nashville sounds sexier. Just does. Walking up and down Broadway. Let's go to the Grand Ole Opry. All those kinds of things. The Nashville Predators have country music stars singing the national anthem at pretty much all their games. Or these up-and-comers or these big artists. And they stink. Not the artists. I'm talking about the Predators. There's always an appeal to that. In this area, you have NC State, Duke, North Carolina, the Carolina Hurricanes, the North Carolina Courage, the Durham Bulls are all trying to compete for sponsorship dollars in this area, are all trying to push for it. You have to have the corporate backing. And maybe this move by Tom Dundon is saying, hey, you know what? Maybe Major League Baseball, maybe that doesn't happen for another 10 years. But I'm looking to make a move now. Now I go for the NBA. We'll see what happens with the Tampa Bay Rays and what they want to do. But when I say people that want Major League Baseball in Raleigh, you have to ask this. It's just like online dating. They got to swipe right on you too, them being Major League Baseball. You can swipe right all you want about getting Major League Baseball to come to this area. Major League Baseball has to want you too. They have to want you too. It's the Draft with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorham producing the show today. Again, leave your thoughts in the comment section. If you find this on YouTube, leave your thoughts in the comments. And that's where we get into our feedback frenzy. Your comments, your thoughts, next.
Hey, it's Tim Donnelly from Maynard Service Company. Whether it's heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, these are all parts of our home that fall under the same umbrella. Things we take for granted. Right? You flush the toilet, you know it's going to work. You walk in on a hot day, you know you're going to be hit with that cold, refreshing burst of air-conditioned air until you don't. Right? One day you walk in and it's broken, and that's going to ruin your day until you remember you saved the phone number for Maynard Service Company, and they will send out one of their 24/7 technicians from all across the triangle to your house to make sure you get it fixed and you can go back to taking your home for granted. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, whatever situation you're facing inside the four walls, or probably more than that, of your home, call Maynard Service Company, 919-361-0993, or you can visit them online at maynardservices.com.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If we're going to do a quick power ranking right now of second-year QBs, you're saying Jaden 1.
Yes.
2 Knicks.
Correct.
3
May.
Which would leave us 4 Caleb.
At best. You got J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. I would have all 3 of those guys in the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams is 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams was 6th.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring, the perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorham producing the show today. Again, if you missed any of the show, check it out on YouTube. The whole thing is right there. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. You can also search The Drive with Tim Donnelly. You'll find us right there. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. And that is where we get your comments for our Feedback Frenzy. Our Feedback Frenzy is where we dive into the comments section, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on our 99 on the Fan social media chip pages that we have, whether it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you name it. It's all right there, and that's where we pull comments for our Feedback Frenzy. Max, what have the people been saying?
Let's start with one from our YouTube live chat. This is from Stuart. Stuart said he sent an email to Tim yesterday and said he's predicting Dundon's top choice for Major League Baseball is now Portland, as it's been rumored for Major League Baseball for a long time. Is Portland maybe a better, or maybe not a better, but maybe are they as likely or more likely than Raleigh to get a Major League expansion franchise?
That's interesting. Expansion or maybe a relocation, possibly. Because that's always a question as well, is does Major League Baseball want to expand? Here comes Max with the heat. Now the question is, do you want to, if you're Major League Baseball, want to continue to expand, or do you maybe have to relocate a team? Now, Portland would provide a regional rivalry for Seattle with the Mariners, and then obviously you have some of those clubs that are there in the Bay Area, or at least you have one with the Athletics and they're leaving. But at least you can provide a little bit of regional rivalry in that regard. That's a legit question. If Portland is wanting to add a Major League Baseball team, and if Dundon can get it where he's kind of like what he's getting out here with the Lenovo Center, where he can add a concert venue and they can open up for, residential neighborhoods or, housing, whatever it might be. Entertainment district, kind of like what they have in Atlanta, what they call it the Battery down in Atlanta, where the Atlanta Braves play, where it's a full-on entertainment area outside the stadium, and there's been such a massive economic boom in that area, and also just the money that's being made off the real estate that's right there. If Dundon can do that, where he can renovate the arena where the Trailblazers play, and then possibly get a Major League Baseball stadium built, I don't see why not. If the land, I don't know what the land situation looks like out there in terms of, can you build a downtown stadium in Portland? I have no idea. I don't have a map with me, but that is certainly a consideration. Why not? If Major League Baseball is more interested in another team out west as opposed to a team in Carolina, that makes perfect sense.
All right, we'll shift gears here. This was a video conversation Tim had the other day with you guys. NC State and Duke kind of laying low in the media in the offseason as they head into this football season. Strap in. This one is a bit of a lengthy one, but I wanted to include it. It's some serious NC State propaganda. I say this as someone who graduated from NC State a few years ago. Some propaganda, but we'll
easy there now.
Take a listen here. NC State quietly focused on settling a score on the field versus ECU. Wolfpack is 13-5 in last 18 games versus UNC, plus an early 6-point favorite at home this year. No worries there. Ex-Wolfpack assistant coach Manny Diaz has Duke on a steady path to being good every year. UNC mortgaged the entire school because they are 5-13 against the Wolfpack. Let's just tell it like it is. However, TCU returns 40 players from a 9-4 team and a returning QB who set a school record, it's in all caps by the way, for passing yards last year. UNC has 40 transfers and 30 freshmen, with 6 of those freshmen expected to start. For comparison, only one freshman at NC State has a chance to start. So I think it is obvious who the third best team in the Triangle would be. As far as the type of players produced by each program and NFL potential, look at Peyton Wilson tearing it up for the Steelers last year. By the way, Dave Doran is 8-4 versus UNC and 5-1 at Carter Finley's Chapel Hill location. He is not on any type of hot seat, in my opinion.
Okay, well, there's a lot there. Who is the name of the person that did this?
His name is Nothing Man 27511.
All right, Nothing Man. Well, there was definitely not nothing, a double negative there, in that comments for sure. So, okay, so the conversation that Tim and I had the other day regarding NC State and Duke was NC State's kind of quiet right now, which is not a bad thing. Because last year, even us, like, whoa, you brought in a transfer quarterback and Grayson McCall. You brought in Noah Rogers, a former five-star coming back. You brought in Justin Jolie, and you brought in all these kinds of things. And yes,
got so high, and then it all came crashing down.
Exactly my point. So that is something that we had last year when it came to NC State. He also said that Duke was kind of boring in terms of really not much going on. There's no real position battles that we know of that's going on. Yeah, you got Darian Mensah that came and some new skill guys, but people look at what's still Duke football. That's people would say. It's kind of what we were getting at. And you know what? We said that's actually not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing for NC State this year. Now, in terms of that final part about, now you mentioned North Carolina mortgaging the future and putting a lot of money into the football program with hiring Michael Lombardi as a general manager, Bill Belichick as the head coach, and everything that they've put into the team. It's a lot that's gone in, but I will say this about if Dave Doran being on the hot seat. I don't think NC State fans would love or accept the fact if NC State went 7-5 this year. I don't think that's going to fly with State fans.
No,
I just don't think it is.
Yeah, even if you beat UNC again, and like the commenter said, he's had a good record against them, but they kind of come to expect a little bit more. They've been stuck kind of in neutral for a while, and they need to make the next step. And I don't know if it's going to happen for Dave Doran. I'm not going to rule it out. He certainly could make that leap, but this is year, 13 for him at NC State?
2013 was his first year, so 13 years with the team. So I think this is for Dave Doran to have, and he's even said, for the first time in a while, that he's had the same quarterback from one year to the next. Because remember, there was the Brennan Armstrong that came in from Virginia. There was the Grayson McCall that came in. There's Devin Leary. So there's a lot of volatility when it came to quarterback, but now he's like, okay, I've got these skill guys all coming back. I've got my same quarterback that's growing as a player coming back as well. To me, I don't think State fans are going to be happy even with an 8-4 season. Like, hey, you can beat North Carolina and finish 8-4 at the end of the year, but again, that's just kind of on par with what you've been doing. Whereas I think State fans have been clamoring for that. We want that 10-win season. We need that double-digit win season. That's exactly what NC State needs for sure. All right, Max, what's next here on the feedback frenzy?
So not so much propaganda on this next one, but this one we'll shift from NC State conversation to UNC one, UNC basketball actually. So a few days ago, we were talking about Hubert Davis hyping up his incoming freshman coming in for this year. And Tony said on that video, maybe if these guys could or would stick around for more than a couple years instead of chasing a few more dollars, their jerseys may just end up in the rafters. Look what Hubert did for R.J. Davis these past 4 years. I think he's an overachiever by staying at UNC, Baycott as well. Let's build a team instead of buying a team. Brown and High can both be monsters at UNC, provided they will choose to improve. Who's to say they can't both be Hansboroughs?
Okay, so this is Dave. Hubert Davis was talking about his incoming freshman and gave the praise of essentially saying there's no reason why these guys can't have their names in the rafters, which is an extremely high bar that's set at North Carolina because there is legit criteria that you have to check off on one of these things, like being a first or second team All-American, being a conference player of the year, national player of the year. Those are the things that get your name up in the rafters. Like, for example, R.J. Davis was an ACC Player of the Year. His name will be up in the rafters. Now, it won't be a retired jersey, but his jersey number and name will be recognized because it's up there. The person brings up a really good point about who actually will stick around for 4 years. Because let's be honest, if these players are great and are of NBA talent, then they're going to be going to the NBA, much like we saw Drake Powell this past season. Those guys don't stick around for 4 years anymore. And I think that's also when Hubert Davis said it about those guys, is that you're putting a lot of expectation on guys that you may not only have for a season. Now, some of these other guys that listener had mentioned, maybe some of these guys can become a next Hansborough. Some of these guys are in the low post. Maybe. But the guys that stick around for 4 years are few and far between nowadays. Because let's be honest, yeah, there's an opportunity for money at other places, but we've seen Carolina say they're going to put money into basketball. They've upped their NIL and obviously the revenue sharing going in. But guys also want to play. Guys want to set themselves up for a better future. I think it's the reason why we saw Ian Jackson wants his skill set to be utilized in a different way, hence why he transferred. There's a reason why that we see guys move to other places. It's not just about dollars all the time. So these guys just simply want to play more, or at least play in a style that best fits them so they can be best positioned for their future. Simple as that. Not these players are bad. It's just simply what is. That's been Feedback Frenzy here on 99.9 The Fan. The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Coming up on the starting five, who has been named from the ACC, a preseason All-American for football? Also, free burgers for everyone in Milwaukee. Next.
Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. And right now, are you following Fox and Bailey Watch Shop right now on Instagram? Because if you're not, you need to get to it right now. At Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, give them the follow. Because there's no other way for you to know about the pre-owned and vintage Rolex of your dreams that may have just gotten into their selection at the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. You may not have any other way to get a VIP preview window for collectors and enthusiasts into the selection that is soon to be joining the selection at Bailey's Fine Jewelry inside the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. Whether you're looking for rare pre-owned releases, limited edition drops, or anything else in the timepiece world, Fox and Bailey Watch Shop on Instagram is the place to be informed. Let them know you heard about it from me on 99.9 The Fan.
You've heard the perfect scores on air. We're bringing our champions to the stage. It's our second annual Numbers Game Live show, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Perfect players will compete on August 21st at the fabulous Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Watch on YouTube as we crown a Numbers Game champ. Special thanks to On-Site AV, a full-service event production company, for lighting up Numbers Game Live.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. The Sign and Save sales event is happening now at Clayton Homes and Oakwood Homes, but only through August 31st. You can save up to $5,000 instantly on your new home. That's $2,500 off a single section or $5,000 off a multi-section home. Discover the comfort, the style, and the value of a Clayton-built home, crafted with North Carolina in mind. From modern floor plans to energy-saving upgrades and premium finishes, there's a home fitting your lifestyle and, of course, your budget. And with summer heating up, it's the perfect time to enjoy energy-smart features for year-round comfort and savings. Stop by, tour our fully furnished models, or visit manufacturedhomeoffers.com and browse limited-time deals. But don't wait. The Sign and Save sales event ends August 31st. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating retailers through 8/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Richie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Richie Law is on top of it. Go to richielaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's richielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. An early shower can't be ruled out. 73 the low. Hotter day for your Friday. It's morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, a 30% chance for storms. Our high temperature hovers around 90 degrees.
Weather update brought to you by Nukem and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit nukemandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money at the closing bell. Dow Jones down just 11 points, 44,911.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
It's the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Before we get into the starting five, coming up here in about 25 minutes, we'll be putting the call out for the numbers game. Our numbers game prize today, a $25 gift card to Sharky's. So that'll be our numbers game live today. But we'll put the call out here in about 20 or 20 minutes or so. But until then, Max, we got to get into the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Little football news for you, a little fun for the preseason for everyone out there regarding college football. CBS Sports put out their preseason All-American list actually yesterday. Came out during the show yesterday, so a chance to touch on it today. Actually, quite a few ACC guys that were mentioned on this, and the number one guy that was mentioned on this was Cade Klubnik, quarterback from Clemson, preseason All-American, according to CBS Sports. This is where their panel of experts and the people that cover the sport, you know, like the Chip Patterson of CBS Sports, whom you can hear on the Adam Gold Show at about 1:15 every single Wednesday. Chip Patterson always joins Adam Gold. He's part of the people that help make this list as well. They are little nuggets of information from these guys. But first team quarterback goes to Cade Klubnik, Clemson. Also, some other guys that were parts of the second team, or also first team guys that were from the ACC, I should say. Running back out of Pitt, that would be Desmond Reed, who's an all-purpose selection. Desmond Reed was, who last year was a combination of pass catcher, running back. He had 5 rushing touchdowns, 4 receiving touchdowns, also had a return for a touchdown as well. Nearly 1,000 yards rushing, but had nearly 600 yards receiving as well. So an over 1,500 total yard season offensively with 9 touchdowns. He's a real versatile back as well. There's some other guys that actually made first team as well. For example, Clemson defensive tackle Peter Woods was a first team All-American selection by CBS Sports. And also Pitt linebacker Kyle Lewis was also a first team All-American as well at linebacker, according to CBS Sports. Again, he had over 100 tackles last year. This is a crazy stat line here, Max. He had 101 tackles last year, 7 sacks. Again, off-ball linebacker. 7 sacks and 4 interceptions last year. 7 sacks and 4 interceptions as a linebacker. The guy was all over the place for Pitt. Now, is Pitt going to be any good this year? We'll see. Avion Terrell from Clemson was a second-team All-American selection, according to CBS Sports, as well as Chandler Rivers, the defensive back from Duke. The corner was a second-team All-American selection preseason by CBS Sports as well, including as well running back from Louisville was also selected. Isaac Brown was selected as a second-team running back as well from Louisville. So there's a lot of guys that are peppered all around the ACC. TJ Parker, the defensive end from Clemson, also a second-team preseason All-American from CBS Sports. Francis Mauigoa, the offensive lineman from Miami, I missed him, was actually a first-team All-American selection as well for CBS Sports and CBSSports.com. So anyway, preseason, these watch lists and so on and so forth are coming about. We'll actually get into one of the watch lists coming up here a little bit. But we're seeing a lot of local guys, ACC guys, getting a lot of preseason praise, not just from a local level, but from a national level as well. I'm excited to see what this football season can bring. We know Clemson is like the big dog, obviously, of ACC football going into this season. Once you get past that, it's kind of wide open, it feels like. We have an idea of who we think will be good. I feel that, at least, Georgia Tech is going to be a really good team. Now, they might be 9-3, but they're not going to be a pushover this season. I think Duke is actually going to be a good team this season. I might be more bullish on Duke than a lot of people are. But I feel they're going to be a good team. Louisville seems to continue to just, whether it was Jack Plummer a couple years ago or Tyler Shuck last year, can they recreate the quarterback magic with another transfer in Miller Moss? Can Coach Brom there at Louisville continue to make good on what he's been doing, seems like every single year?
Yeah.
I mean, Louisville might be a 9-3 team. Let's not forget, a couple years ago, they were playing in the ACC championship game against Florida State.
And Miller Moss, at least coming into last season at USC, it was pretty hyped as like a guy who could even be like a dark horse, like Heisman candidate if he was able. Granted, it was based off a sample size of like a Holiday Bowl where he threw 5 touchdowns, but there is some talent there, and we'll see if it comes to be in the ACC rather than the, I guess the Big Ten is where USC plays now. But
yeah, wherever they play. But anyway, a lot of ACC guys, local guys, preseason All-Americans from CBS. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Shot clock down to 7. Simpson around the screen. Fires to Knippel. 3 on the way. It's gone. Con Knippel makes it a 4-point game.
The NBA officially released their schedule today. The whole season schedule. Not going to run through every game here. There's just simply too many. But the opening night on NBC. So NBC is getting NBA basketball. So you're not going to see games on TNT anymore. So Turner no longer part of the NBA. NBC has stepped in and is now part of the media rights package. The NBA opening night on NBC is going to feature the Houston Rockets taking on or visiting the Oklahoma City Thunder, so the reigning champs. And then the Golden State Warriors playing the LA Lakers at 10 o'clock. So it's a doubleheader. Houston at Oklahoma City at 7:30. Golden State at LA taking on the Lakers at 10 o'clock at night. Which all makes perfect sense if I'm the NBA. Houston, Oklahoma, a little bit of a regional matchup, I guess you could say. But now you are at least in prime time at 7:30, featuring your team that just won a championship. This is something I wish the NHL would follow.
What,
For example,
you don't want to see the Blackhawks on opening night?
Well, here's the thing about this. The thing about what the NBA is doing on a Tuesday night opener on October 21st on NBC is that they are featuring their reigning champion in a primetime slot where everyone can see. The NHL opener features the Florida Panthers win the very first game, and a game that starts at 5 o'clock. You are literally taking the champion of your league, your 2-time champion, NHL, and burying them in a 5 o'clock start time where no one's really going to see the start of that game because people are going to be driving home. People got stuff they got to go do.
Is the arena even going to be full? That's their banner raising, and people are still going to be at work.
They're banner raising, and there are people still sitting at their desks in Central Time Zone at work.
It's the second one. They don't care as much anyway. It's not like the first cup,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't do that. You are downplaying your own champion by doing that. And then at 8 o'clock, the NHL is going to have, let's have Pittsburgh and the Rangers. I get that they have big markets and stuff, but those two teams didn't even make the playoffs last season. And then you mentioned the Chicago Blackhawks are playing the Florida Panthers in the opener. I guess so you can somewhat try and draw the Chicago market into this at 5 o'clock Eastern time puck drop. So I got to watch the first 2 games of the NHL season feature 3 teams that didn't even make the playoffs this last year. At least the NBA has given me Houston, pretty good team. Oklahoma City, the champs. Golden State, good team. And I got the star power of Steph Curry and Draymond Green in that mix. And then I got the Lakers with LeBron and Luka and that entire crew. I get star power featured in primetime slots. The NBA at least got it right. NHL can't get out of its own damn way. NHL has such a damn good product. Hockey is freaking amazing. Have you watched a game? It's awesome, especially when you go watch it live. It is one of the best sports you can watch live. But the NHL continues to get in its own damn way. And that's such a problem. It's such a problem that the NHL has done a terrible job of marketing itself. And I look and see what the NBA did here, and I go, makes sense.
They're weirdly committed to that triple header on opening night. And while we're on the mention of the NBA, Hornets opening night, October 22nd against the Nets. I kid you not, 69 days from right now.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. I'm not, but Hey, is it in Charlotte or is it?
They will open in Charlotte and then they go on a 3-game road trip.
Okay, they're playing the Nets. Welcome in Drake Powell, coming back to the state of North Carolina. First-round draft pick, or one of the 5 first-round draft picks by the Brooklyn Nets this past year. Yes, NHL. Quit getting in your own way. At least the final game of the NHL opener. Again, that is on October 7th, well before the NBA starts. And you have a 5 o'clock for your banner. Like, just so dumb. At least that night game is the LA Kings taking on the Colorado Avalanche. 2 really good teams. That's at 10:30. That's good. That's the only game that actually really makes sense. Feature your champion, folks. Don't devalue your own title. Okay, I've talked enough. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3. That's right, Max. How do we get up to Milwaukee to get some free burgers? By the way, I actually used to live about a half hour south of Milwaukee. Milwaukee, very underrated city. But I lived there for a year. It was a good time, actually. So the Milwaukee Brewers, this is a little fun tidbit. We always see, for example, like the Carolina Hurricanes, if they score a power play goal at home, Bo-Berry biscuits, right? Bojangles. Free Bo-Berry biscuits the next day. Or you see in college basketball, sometimes in the second half of games, if somebody misses back-to-back free throws, hey, free Chick-fil-A sandwiches or whatever it might be, or free cookies, depending on where you are. I like these kinds of promotions. There is a restaurant chain that's local to Milwaukee. George Webb is the name of the chain. The local restaurant chain, George Webb, has been promising for years free burgers if the Milwaukee Brewers, or I guess if the local baseball team, won 17 consecutive games. They did this decades ago. So way back when Milwaukee actually only had a minor league team, not even actually like a major league team. The promotion has since dropped their number of games to win down from 13 to 12.
But actually originated as 17.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was originally 17. They dropped it down from 13, now down to 12. So George Webb has changed the promotion to 12 games when the Brewers moved from Seattle in 1970. Now, back in 1987, this is according to ESPN, the Brewers actually opened the season with 13 wins in a row, and more than 170,000 burgers were given away to mark the occasion. So this is the first time since a year after I was born, Max, that the Milwaukee Brewers have won 12 straight games, and this George Webb restaurant chain is giving out free burgers again. Actually, I take that back. The Brewers actually did it in 2018 as well. So the first time since 2018. So 7 years.
I wish we were in Milwaukee. I went to Five Guys for a burger today, and it was far from free.
Far from it. Flexing over here, Max, over here. You got the metabolism still. You can burn that off. But nonetheless, Max can burn this off. He's still young. But nonetheless, George Webb is giving out free burgers because the Brewers have won 12 straight games now. That's awesome. I love that. I mean, there's even there's local pizza. I think it's Randy's Pizza. If the Canes, part of their goal scoring at home games, you get like a free slice of pizza, things along those lines. I like when restaurants and places can get involved with local teams in this way because guess what? Now we're talking about it. Now the broadcast you just heard, Max just played the clip. Good job pulling that final out. Was them saying like, hey, it's burger time. I want to see more of this. I wonder if there's Max, is there a restaurant out there that, maybe should, hey, if NC State wins 10 football games this season, like free slices of pizza, whatever it is, or like free chicken strips or something along those lines.
I don't know.
It was like the first, 500 or 1,000 people, whatever it might be. I think that would actually be really cool to do. Like Krispy Kreme, free donuts or something like that. Or
free donuts if the MLB Raleigh team gets a shutout because it's a donut.
See? We're doing the work for the people, Max.
Or I guess the Hurricanes, since they actually exist. But
hey, you know what? I kind of like this.
They used to give out the free Chick-fil-A sandwiches for Hurricanes home wins, and then I think the team got too good. And
they got too good.
We'll give you all like one thing a month because we can't afford to keep giving away all these sandwiches.
That's fair. But I like that. I like the fact that when teams or restaurants or whatever it might be get involved in this way, shape, or form because it gives me something to root for other than just the win. It's like, yo, let's get burgers too. They gave out 170,000 burgers back in 1987 doing this promotion. Can only imagine the amount now. All right, that's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
2 running back set. Bailey keeps. Bailey dives to the end zone. Touchdown! NC State, and now the fireworks go off on time.
CJ Bailey, NC State quarterback on a preseason watch list for the Manning Award. The Manning Award is given to the nation's best quarterback in college football. 4 ACC quarterbacks were actually named to the preseason watch list for 2025 for the Manning Award. It was Cade Klubnik, Clemson, which Max, you're very bullish on Clemson this upcoming season.
Very.
You made a bold statement. Say it once again for the people.
I'm pretty sure they're going to win the national championship.
You pretty sure? Because it seemed earlier that I was pretty sure that you were 100% confident they were winning the national championship.
I mean, I can't predict the future, but if I was going to pick a team to win, it's going to be them. It's going to be Clemson.
That's why they call it gambling. But Clemson quarterback Cade Klubnik on that watch list. Haynes King, Georgia Tech senior quarterback on that Manning Award watch list. Kevin Jennings, the SMU quarterback, the junior on that Manning Award watch list. And CJ Bailey, the NC State sophomore quarterback on the preseason watch list, Max. I think that's a cool thing for CJ Bailey to get some sort of recognition. Now, this list will grow as the season goes along. Like, for example, if Darian Mensah at Duke, pops off big to start the first 3 games of the year, puts up good stats against Elon in the first week, which, by the way, 2 weeks from today, folks, CJ Bailey and NC State are on the field against East Carolina. 2 weeks from today, Duke football is on the field against Elon. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Now, again, Mensah can get added to this list if he, has a strong start to the season. Whomever the starting quarterback is, who we are assuming is Gio Lopez at North Carolina, if he has a strong start to the season, could get added to this list. We shall see. But I'm excited to see what Bailey can do going into his sophomore year. Because, Max, let's remember, CJ Bailey got thrust into the starter spot last year because of injuries to Grayson McCall. CJ Bailey was, my guess is the intent was to redshirt him this past year. Playing, the 3-4 games that he's allowed to do it, and then kind of relax. Most other games I say relax in the sense of being on the sideline, still learning and developing, and this will be his redshirt freshman year, but last year was thrust into a starting role. Now the offense is going to have to evolve from what it was last year. Obviously, no more Robert Anae as your offensive coordinator. Roper now being the offensive coordinator for NC State, but that was a promotional hire from within. I'm curious to see what this offense is going to look like with CJ Bailey now, where the offense is more catered to his skill set. And he's going to be with Noah Rogers for the second season. He's going to be with Justin Jolie, Wesley Grimes, and Hollywood Smothers, and some of these other young players that we saw last year with this team. Because remember, last year, Grayson McCall was getting the lion's share of the first team reps, and understandably so. He was a graduate player that you brought in from Coastal Carolina who was a really, really good football player at Coastal. So he was getting the reps with a lot of those guys that I just mentioned, those skill players. Now it's Bailey who had to come in mid-season and try and develop that chemistry. Now he's had the all off-season to do it. I think it's really cool that he's on this Manning Award preseason watch list. I think it's really cool. I think it's at least some group recognizing the talent that C.J. Bailey does possess. There's a ton of upside to him. He's a true sophomore. 2 weeks, Max. You going to be there, Carter Finley, 2 weeks?
We'll see. Those ticket prices are a little steep. So we'll think about it.
High in demand. High in demand. By the way, the drive with Tim Donnelly. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly right now. We will be doing the show live outside in the plaza between the Lenovo Center and Carter Finley Stadium. 2 weeks from today, we're going to be out there doing the show live. So we'll have the tent set up. Come by, swing over, say hey to us. We'll be out there in 2 weeks, folks.
I'll at least be out at the tailgate for sure.
Of course, you have to. You have to. ECU and NC State, that's some pretty strong tailgate culture, for sure. Pretty strong tailgate culture. All right, Max, that's number 2. Let's get to number 1. Carolina Panthers had a joint practice today down in Houston with the Texans. By the way, Max, we never pointed this out earlier today. This is the second time that the Panthers have had a joint practice with another team. No fights. No fights, no scuffles, no skirmishes, none of that kind of stuff.
Well, no fights in the practices.
Well, yeah, I mean, the preseason game is a little different. But in my eyes, it's a good thing. You know, I heard D'Amico Ryans, the head coach of the Texans, say it. Dave Canales, the head coach for the Panthers, both say it. Hey, everyone came in, was professional. They played hard. Everyone was physical, but they kept it clean. No dirty play. No one trying to show off and show out because they're trying to make a roster or anything along those lines. They'll actually let their play do the talking, and I think that's a really, really good thing. Now, while there was a lot of good, there's plenty of videos out there seeing Tedero McMillan catching a long catch-and-run touchdown pass against Derek Stinley. Had a couple of touchdowns today. Bryce Young on a double move for Xavier Leggett with a touchdown today and some red zone work. So, again, it's still a practice. It's not an actual game. It's still a practice, but nonetheless, you get a chance to play someone else. And this is oftentimes when you're playing someone else is when mistakes and stuff start popping up. And even Dave Canales talked about some of the bad that happened at practice today.
In the middle of the practice, we got really sloppy. We had about 5 pre-snap penalties in one drive. We're looking at some, 1st and 15s, a couple of sacks. I thought it got sloppy in the middle. Responded at the end with 2 great 2-minute finishes for touchdowns at the end of the practice over here, which was phenomenal. And I just keep convincing our guys that's who we are. We finish. Games can get ugly in the middle. We have to be able to refocus and rebound. So I was really excited about that part.
Refocus, rebound, come back strong. Now, during the course of the game, those mistakes and stuff are going to cost you. And Dave Canales even talked about a way to possibly clean up those pre-snap penalties.
Yeah, I just keep teaching the guys, and they see it. When we get into these situations, our guys are very competitive. They want to win. And all of a sudden, you're looking at, 1st and 15, you're looking at 2nd and 20, and they can feel how deflating those situations can be. We've overcome that at times, but it's hard. It's hard to get those explosives to get yourself back on track, but it's something we have to keep teaching off of and ultimately to let them know, the guys that are repeat offenders, we're not going to be able to play you. You're not going to be able to help us if you keep putting us in bad situations.
If you're not going to help us, we're not going to play. Now, let's keep in mind, Max, let's not forget that when Bryce Young struggled last year, what happened? Got benched. Dave Canales isn't afraid to pull that trigger or press that button, however you want to describe it. He's not afraid to do it. He's not afraid to do it.
At least they're changing up the preseason approach this year because last year when he barely got any looks at all in the preseason and then came in week 1, didn't look prepared, didn't look ready, and we all remember how that went. So I'm glad that they're adjusting the approach. Yeah. It's clear that Dave Canales in his second year as a head coach is learning from his experience and adjusting his systems. Everyone's getting a little bit more comfortable with the jargon and the playbook and the way they do their process every day. So hopefully that'll lead to some progress. But I like the process that we're seeing out of them in camp so far.
Dave Canales did say today that he wants to possibly, again, depending on how guys are feeling after today, it was super hot down there in Texas. I actually, in Houston, I actually checked the weather down there because I want to say, like, it's really, really hot. I checked the weather down there. When they were wrapping up practice, the heat index was like 102, 103. As they were wrapping up practice at about 11:30 Central Time this morning. It was legit hot, and it's been nothing but pouring buckets here in the state of North Carolina for the last couple of weeks, and it hasn't really been that hot. So a little bit of a different challenge for Carolina at joint practice today. But he did say, depending on how guys are feeling, he would like to see his starters get a third series, possibly. Maybe playing up to, maybe it's 20 snaps as opposed to the 8 to 12 that he had predicted for the first preseason game. Maybe they get to 20 or 25, depending on how things go in the game. Maybe it's 2 long drives. Maybe it's, hey, we had a 10-play drive and we had an 8-play drive on offense. So they both result in scores. Good. Maybe that's what it is, but the response of adjusting and coming out for a third drive. He did say that he wants that today. He even said it after the game on Friday last week. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. That's the starting 5. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, you maxed out on credit cards. Maybe you're struggling with high interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client recently got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Listen, here's the thing about your home equity, folks. It's yours. It's yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Folks, I said this about 20 minutes ago. It's time. We need some numbers game contestants. Call 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a $25 gift card to Sharky's. Sharky's with back-to-back wins for best wings in the Triangle. Voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharky's. In order to win the $25 gift card, you got to play the numbers game. In order to play the numbers game and win the numbers game, you got to call now. 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants, $25 Sharky's gift card on the line. Numbers game next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If we're going to do a quick power ranking right now of second-year QBs, you're saying Jaden 1.
Yes.
2 Knicks.
Correct.
3.
May.
Which would leave us 4 Caleb.
At best. You got J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. I would have all 3 of those guys in the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams is 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams was 6th.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Give me those sauces, grab the chicken strips, let's dunk them in there. There's nothing like it. Hey, I'm Joey. And I'm Josh. And we're team members at our local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing you'll love about the Chick-fil-A chicken strips is dipping them in our sauces. My sauce is the barbecue sauce. If you wanted to add sweet, tangy flavors, there's nothing like it. I love the garden herb ranch sauce, but if you want a little bit more kick in the spicy side, you can mix it with buffalo sauce. Dipping them in our sauces, it is perfection.
It's the summer of Chick-fil-A chicken strips and sauces. Order now on the Chick-fil-A app. Team members paid for their testimonials.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Hi, I'm Michael from the Warren Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic, semaglutide injection 0.5 milligrams.
It's time to play the numbers game. At stake today, we have a $25 gift card to Sharky's. Sharky's with back-to-back-to-back-to-back wins for best wings in the Triangle, voted best sports bar, quite possibly the best neighborhood bar in the world. Sharky's. We have Everett in Raleigh and Terry in Raleigh competing today in the numbers game. Again, $25 gift card on the line to Sharky's. Let's go to Everett and Raleigh first. I'm going to ask each you, Everett, and Terry and Raleigh, both a question. And Max is going to decide which answer he likes best. So, Everett, are you there?
I am.
All right, Everett, pretty simple. We're giving away $25 gift card to Sharky's today. Again, back-to-back-to-back-to-back voted best wings in the Triangle. What's your go-to wing order?
I would say I'm pretty basic. Maybe some just garlic wings.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Garlic wings, like, are you getting like ranch or blue cheese or no sauce? Like, anything else in there?
Yeah, I'm probably some ranch sauce as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not a huge wing fan, but if I do get wings, that's what I want to get. Just the bone-in typical wing with a garlic sauce on it.
Okay, Max, any questions?
No.
Okay. All right, Terry. Terry and Raleigh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, Terry, same question to you. You're getting wings. What's your go-to wing order?
Well, considering they're back-to-back-to-back-to-back, I would get just whatever the regular wings with some celery, hopefully, and some blue cheese.
Okay, so regular, you're talking like just plain wings, no sauce, no dry rub, just some good old plain wings and some blue cheese.
Yeah, they can put whatever they want on them. I like wings. Don't matter.
Okay. All right, so Max, you have Everett who says he likes a little garlic on his wings, maybe a little ranch on the side. And then you have Terry saying, just give me whatever with a little side of blue cheese and some celery. Max, which one you going with here?
I can appreciate how adventurous that is to just take whatever, but I personally am a big fan of the garlic parm, and I feel like that's not too far off from what Everett said, so we'll let Everett go first today.
All right, so Terry, stay on the line. Everett, we're going to go first. By the way, the garlic parmesan is the way to go. All right, Everett, you'll be up first. Don't worry, Terry, you'll have your opportunity. All right, Everett, here are the categories in which you could choose from. We have NFL, mid-August birthday boys. So these are all players in the NFL or played in the NFL who were born in mid-August. We also have NFL, ACC pros since 2020. So these guys all have played at an ACC school since the year 2020. We also have NBA short names. So these are all names where the letters of the first and last name are 9 letters or less. We also have NHL hurricanes throughout history. What say you?
I'll say the NFL ACC.
Okay. NFL ACC pros since 2020. I'm going to give you the name of the player and the team. You have to give me their jersey number. 5 names. You have 30 seconds on the clock. You get 1 pass. Try and get all 5 if you can, but you get 1 pass. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Time starts when you hear the horn. Tutu Atwell, Los Angeles Rams.
12.
Incorrect. Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh Steelers.
10.
Incorrect. Tutu Atwell, Los Angeles Rams.
Pass.
Ike Ekwonu, Carolina Panthers.
73.
Incorrect. Kenny Pickett, Pittsburgh Steelers.
8.
Correct. Keon Coleman, Buffalo Bills.
12.
Incorrect. Tutu Atwell, Los Angeles Rams.
17.
Incorrect. Kenny. No, I wasn't going to get the name off anyway, even though you did get Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett did wear 8 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He actually did play at Pitt. Tutu Atwell for the Rams has worn both number 5 and number 15. Ike Ekwonu for the Carolina Panthers wears number 79. He went to NC State. And Keon Coleman for the Buffalo Bills, who was a rookie last year, wears number 0, the wide receiver who actually started his career at Michigan State but finished at Florida State. All right, so Everett and Raleigh, you have 1. Stay in the line. let's get things over to Terry in Raleigh. Terry, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, Terry, here are your categories to choose from. You have NFL mid-August birthday boys, NBA short names, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let me do the NFL August boys.
Okay, so these are all NFL players born in mid-August. So these are, again, current and or former players born in mid-August. Same thing, 30 seconds on the clock. You do get one pass. A tie goes to whomever goes first, so you need to beat one. So you need 2 or more to win. Terry, any questions?
No, just answers.
Okay, I like this. No questions, just answers. Your time starts when you hear the horn. Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
81.
Incorrect. Jeremy Shockey, New York Giants.
86.
Incorrect. Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
12.
Incorrect. Jeremy Shockey, New York Giants.
84.
Incorrect. Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
1.
Incorrect. Jeremy Shockey, New York Giants.
17.
Incorrect. Bucky Irving, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
4.
Incorrect. Okay, you got down into, that's an over. But you did get down into the single digits for Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wears number 7. So you were you got eventually down into the single digits. You were just a little bit off on that one. Jeremy Shockey, you were in the right vicinity. He wore number 80 with the Giants. So you were correct that he, being a tight end wearing an 80s number, he just needed to just stick with 80 in that regard. By the way, Jeremy Shockey, former Carolina Panther. Jeremy Shockey.
Thank you.
Terry, best luck next time. Thank you for playing. But that means Everett in Raleigh is our winner. Congratulations, good sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I know you say you're not a big wings person, but I'll highly recommend garlic Parmesan wings. It's the way to go.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I left off the Parmesan because that's what I typically get if I do get wings. That's what I'm going to go with. But thanks for bringing that up.
Yes,
that's definitely what I go with.
Never forget the Parmesan, sir. Never forget the Parmesan when it comes to the wings. Everett, stay on the line. Congratulations to you. Stay on the line. Max has got to get some information for you. And congrats. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett won you the numbers game today. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you. By the way, in 1 week from today, it's back, folks. It's the second annual Numbers Game live show presented by Sharky's Place. Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. It takes place 1 week from today, August 21st. Perfect players. So these are folks who have gotten 5 for 5 in the last calendar year up until July 31st. Perfect players will battle the clock at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs. Watch as we crown our champion live on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe on 99.9 The Fans YouTube page. You can watch the Numbers Game live. And special thanks to Onsite AV, a full-service event production company, for supplying the sights and sounds of the Numbers Game live. Again, that is on August 21st, 1 week from today. But folks, we got something special for you. If you want to attend the Numbers Game live, be there in person. 5 lucky people will be able to attend with a guest to Numbers Game live in 1 week. Starts at 7 o'clock. 5 lucky guests. The way to be one of those 5 lucky people, you have to sign up for our newsletter, our 99.9 The Fan newsletter. You can go on our social media platforms. You'll be able to find a link there. But the best way to do it, the easiest way to do it, text FAN, F-A-N, to 919-860-5326. Just text FAN, 919-860-5326, and that's the way to sign up for our newsletter. Because in our newsletter that will drop in your inbox tomorrow, there'll be a code as a way to sign up to attend the Numbers Game live. That's the only way you can enter. You got to sign up for our newsletter, and there'll be a code in tomorrow's newsletter. That's the way you can enter to be a guest at Numbers Game live. 5 lucky fans will be able to attend Numbers Game live on Thursday next week. 5 lucky people will be able to attend with a guest, but you have to sign up for our newsletter first. So do that. Text FAN to 919-860-5326. I want to see you there. I really do. And we want you to watch on YouTube if you can't make it. It really is a lot of fun. We love people like in the comment section, part of the conversation and all that. It really is a good time. It really is a good time. Again, the Numbers Game Live the second annual Numbers Game Live presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill takes place 1 week from today. It will take place at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs. And then special thanks to Onsite AV, a full-service event production company, for supplying the sights and sounds for the Numbers Game Live in 1 week. Text FAN to 919-860-5326 to sign up for our newsletter, and you might be able to attend the Numbers Game live and in person. 5 lucky fans will do that, Max. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Earlier today, the Carolina Panthers had a joint practice with the Houston Texans. And there's something about certain Panthers players that we as folks who are not pro athletes should follow. I'll explain next.
Hey, it's Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Here's the deal, everybody. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. They're so technology-driven nowadays, you may not even realize. If you cut open your HVAC right now, I don't recommend it unless you really want to call Maynard Service Company today. But if you did cut through your HVAC unit, it might look more like a computer than you think. Definitely true for something like a hot water heater, right? If you have a tankless hot water heater, it looks like a computer in there. You need elite technicians if you're going to have somebody working on certain aspects of your home. And Maynard Service Company, just matter of fact, have elite technicians, highly trained, continuously educated. Their training, it never stops because the development and technology in their industry never stops. They take pride in that over at Maynard Service Company. So give them a call, 919-361-0993, or visit them online at maynardservices.com.
The Adam Gold Show.
So I hear Bill Belichick's non-committal about a starting quarterback for the TCU game. First, that's on brand for Bill. He's not going to give you what you want to hear. He's going to play everything close to the vest. But let's be honest here. They brought Gio Lopez here for a reason. If he's not the quarterback on Labor Day, I think that's a problem. Max Johnson's nice, but he's not it. It's got to be Lopez.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. Our fellowship-trained orthopedists do it all. General, sports, pediatric, joint replacement, fractures, spine, prevention, advanced diagnostics, progressive treatments, minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, and more. Visit wakemed.org/wakeortho and get back your life.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel. They are America's #1 sports book, and we have exciting times ahead. August 26th, it is FanDuel Futures Day. Peer off into the horizon and dream. Give me who you think is going to be the MVP of the NFL this year. If you like Aaron Rodgers, what a story that would be. Plus 7,500. By all means, throw a shekel on it. How about to win a division? Maybe a surprise division winner. Go back to Pittsburgh. Plus 500 to win the NFC North. Tuesday, August 26th, there will be incentives. You have to wait until that day to find out what those are. So, stare into that crystal ball. Then crank up the FanDuel app and be ready. FanDuel Futures Day. FanDuel. Play your game. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Couple programming notes here for you all. Max, I know we've talked about it 2 weeks from today. Super excited. I'm excited. College football is going to be kicking off 2 weeks from today here in the state of North Carolina. I know there's some games like on Saturday next week. We're basically 9 days away from real college football games being played. But here in the Triangle in the state of North Carolina, it's 2 weeks from today where we got Elon's going to be at Duke. East Carolina's going to be at NC State. I'm excited about it. I'm stoked for that. Which, by the way, in 2 weeks' time, we will be at Carter Finley, in the plaza between Carter Finley and the Lenovo Center. We're going to be doing our show out there live. The Drive here with Tim Donnelly. By the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Max Gorin producing the show today. So we're going to be out there live, doing the show, leading up to the game. But starting next week, on Wednesday, here on 99.9 The Fan, Wednesdays at 7 o'clock, the NC State football show with Dave Doran is going to be airing at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays next week. And then at the same time on Buzz Sports Radio, our sister station, Buzz Sports Radio, at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays, it's going to be the Duke football coaches show with Manny Diaz is going to be over there. Bill Belichick's not going to be doing the UNC football show. Actually, it was announced today. It's actually going to be Michael Lombardi, the general manager, will appear weekly on the UNC football show. Not Bill Belichick. Not surprised, Max. Not shocked.
If he doesn't want to do the show, he doesn't have to. I mean,
it's what it is.
Honestly, I'm not that surprised either, but,
I think people don't realize that in some of these contracts when it comes to coaches, part of the contract is some of that money comes from the broadcast partner. For example, it might be a Learfield or, whatever, IMG. That the money that supplements the coach's income is also part of, you got to do, the weekly show and all that kind of stuff. That's how some of these coaches get a portion of their income, or of their salary. It's not all just in that regard. Some of it comes from, for example, if you're an Adidas school like NC State, some of the money to pay the coach also comes from the apparel provider, those kinds of things. So, anyway, Bill Belichick not doing it. It's going to be Michael Lombardi. But starting on Wednesday next week, 7 o'clock here on The Fan, the NC State Coaches Show. You can listen to it right here on The Fan. Same thing, 7 o'clock Wednesday on Buzz Sports Radio. You can listen to Manny Diaz and the Duke Football Coaches Show. Just a little quick note out there for the people. Coming up in 2 days, Max, preseason game number 2 for the Carolina Panthers. Preseason game number 2. And I said this as we wrapped up the numbers game coming into break, was there's something that us as individuals we can learn from these pro athletes in these situations. I'm talking specifically of the Carolina Panthers here. There are several players, and just really, honestly, this really goes for any profession, no matter what your level is, whether you're an athlete, whether you are working in business, in communications like you and I do, Max, whatever it might be. You might work in the retail world. If there is an opportunity, if there's a job that you want, a position that you want, if you're given the opportunity to show what you can do while doing that job, you got to take advantage of it. You have to take advantage of that opportunity. For example, if there's you're working at your job and someone that you're higher up is sick, and now you have to do the business presentation or whatever because, the person that was supposed to do it isn't available. Well, that's your opportunity to show that, hey, you know what? I can do these things as well. I can lead this project, whatever it might be. That's your opportunity. And you got to go out there and show that you can do it, especially if it's a job promotion that you have been wanting for years. It's no different than what these players are going through. For example, I brought this up on for Friday's game. This past Friday's game for the Carolina Panthers when they played the Cleveland Browns. Looking at the wide receivers, Hunter Renfrow didn't play in the game because he was dealing with a hamstring injury. So that's one less receiver that's available out there for Dave Canales. That's one less set of snaps that now has to get distributed among the other receivers. So guess what? More snaps to go around for the other wide receivers, right? Well, on the second drive of the first quarter for the Carolina Panthers, Xavier Legette gets ejected from the game because he's throws a 3-piece combo on a guy for the for the Cleveland Browns, score that 110-9 leaguette, but he gets booted from the game. Well, then guess who now steps in? Well, it's not Hunter Renfrow because he's hurt. Now it's Jalen Coker, the second-year wide receiver, who at times last year felt like the best receiver for the Panthers when Leggett was struggling and Thielen was injured. So Coker now fills that role, and the offense doesn't miss a beat. So he now gets that opportunity. Well, then also look at the end of that drive, that same drive where Jalen Coker had to get inserted into the lineup. Tedero McMillan drops his touchdown opportunity. Goes right through his hands. You know what happens the very next play? Jalen Coker is wide open in the back corner of the end zone. Bryce Young has to scramble to his right. He redirects him on where to go. He finds a spot to get open, makes his catch, touchdown. And you know what we're doing? Hey, see, look at Jalen Coker. Look at Coker. The guy took advantage of his opportunity. He maximized every opportunity that he had. He didn't have I didn't get any reps, I didn't get any snaps, I kind of came in cold, whatever it might be. No excuse for it. He went out there and took advantage of his opportunity. We saw Corey Thornton on the defensive side of things for the Carolina Panthers as a cornerback. Played pretty well during this offseason, during OTAs and mini camps and all that stuff, and did pretty well during training camp. You know what happens the day of the joint practice between the Carolina Panthers and the Cleveland Browns on Wednesday last week? J.C. Horn gets into a fender bender car accident, gets a cut on his hand that requires stitches. Guess who can't practice? J.C. Horn. Guess who couldn't play on Friday? J.C. Horn. Well, someone's got to. The starting defense was out there on the field. Well, guess what? Hey, Corey Thornton. You go out there and run with the starters. If that fender bender doesn't happen, Corey Thornton probably doesn't start that game. It's taking advantage of an opportunity that is presented to you, and that's exactly what Corey Thornton did. He was great in press coverage, also nearly had an interception as well, had a pass breakup, also made some plays in the running game where he came up and made tackles either at or behind the line of scrimmage. He had an opportunity, and he shined. And you know what today that led to? Corey Thornton out there with the starting defense while J.C. Horn still has the stitches in his hand because he took advantage of that opportunity. In order, again, I'm speaking into a positive light, but you also have to look on the other side of things as well. On Friday, the Carolina Panthers started an offensive lineman by the Tyre Carter. Just call him J.T. Carter. J.T. Carter was starting at left guard for the Carolina Panthers on Friday, along with the starting offensive line, because Damian Lewis, the normal starter, got hurt with a shoulder injury in the joint practice. His backup, Chandler Zavala, former NC State player, has been dealing with a knee injury, so he wasn't available. So now Carter gets his opportunity to start. Not Brady Christensen, not Cade Mays, not someone else. They put Carter in there to start. You know what happens on the third play? Gives up a sack. Sure enough, when the Panthers roll out at practice today, the joint practice, well, guess what? Guess who was starting there at left guard? Wasn't J.T. Carter. They put Cade Mays over there. That's what I mean about taking advantage of your opportunities. Again, that's why I say this in a life situation. There have been jobs that I've gotten. I used to do freelance work for the Associated Press when the Associated Press used to have sports radio. And the person in this market that was normally doing that job as a freelance gig wasn't available for a game. And they asked someone else, hey, are you available to do it? And they said, I don't really feel like doing it. You know, the first game I got to work, because I was eventually the third person, or actually the fourth person that was asked to cover. It was actually a game at Carter Finley Stadium. It was 2018. That Thursday night football game, NC State fans are going to remember that. That Thursday night football game between NC State and Louisville with Lamar Jackson, Bradley Chubb. A lot of people remember that game, right? Great football game, by the way. It was a Thursday night game. That's the first time that I actually got to go work for the Associated Press. You know what they did later on that year? Like later on that calendar year, the end of the sports year? Hey, are you available to go cover a Carolina Hurricanes game? Yeah, I could do that. Then sure enough, it's late May 2019. The Associated Press is asking me, hey, can you, we need you to cover these playoff games, this Eastern Conference Finals games between the Boston Bruins. because simply I was available and I had an opportunity and I took advantage of it. That's what I mean. When it comes to these players, it's the exact same thing. Jalen Coker took advantage of his opportunity. Corey Thornton took advantage of his opportunity. Players I want to see Thomas Incoom, DJ Johnson. Take advantage of your opportunities that you have this coming Friday. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Thank you, Max, for producing today. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim. We'll be back 3 o'clock tomorrow right here on The Fan. We'll see you then.
Hi, this is Renee Chu. The most trusted local news in the Triangle is now on the radio. WRL News Plus. Now get breaking news and severe weather reports on the radio 24 hours a day. Listen on the radio at 96.5 FM in Durham, 99.3 FM in Raleigh, and everywhere in the Triangle at 101.5 HD3.
Bank of America is a nation's leading business lender, and we're ready to help with your next goal here in the Triangle. That's why we have over 3,700 local business specialists across the country. Because with the right team, your business and community prosper. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com/local business. Bank of America, official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Bank of America Corporation, all rights reserved.
Sports can be unpredictable. Your elevator shouldn't be. That's why you need Metro Elevator, Raleigh's hometown team for expert commercial elevator service. Locally